G'day folks, and welcome to this learning how to play video for Mr. President, the American Presidency 2001 to 2020. This just arrived today, so I'm very excited to get this. So I flicked through the how to play booklet. It's only 7 pages long and well illustrated, so pretty easy to get into. I've kind of flicked through the scenarios booklet. And checked a few things in the governing manual, but I'm about to just dive in without really reading much, and I'm going to see how I go. So fair warning, this will be kind of a slow progress through this. I will be learning as I go. So this is, of course, a 2023 publication by GMT Games, designed by Billingsley. And the first thing I need to do, and I'll be playing it by Vassal as well, it has a huge footprint. Check out my unboxing video that I did earlier today. You've got the main board, and you've got all these other boards, and you've got your wars board over here. These are the chit holding area. There's decks of cards here, and then there's various pieces which drop down there, so we'll be using those as well. There's a lot in this. It's a huge box, weighs a ton. Okay, so I'm going to get my head out of the way, and we're going to look at the board. Now I will be zooming in, don't worry, I will be zooming in quite close so you can see everything that's going on. This is a tough game to capture live because, yeah, a lot going on. I think what I'm going to do is try and zoom out, scroll, and then zoom in, so you can kind of follow where I'm going as things move along. If you've got any questions as I go, let me know. If you want to know anything about how gameplay works, why I'm doing certain things, I'll try and explain everything as I go. It's a solitaire game, but you can play it sort of multiplayer. You can appoint, I believe, I haven't got that far into it, you appoint, a vice president or something, or a secretary of state to sort of help you out. I'm going to jump in to the core, I believe this is the core scenario sandbox setup, but there's a few little things I need to do as well. So I'll be playing on the easier difficulty level. You can make this harder, or you can leave it as is. But this is my first game. It's recommended you play on the easier difficulty level. So I draw 3 positive presidential attributes. So I am likable. I get 3 public appeal per turn. I'm efficient. I get 4 presidential action points per turn. That'll be really handy. And I am business friendly. I have +1 imp econ per turn. Hey, Michael. Waiting for you. I've actually pre-ordered the new edition. I've pre-ordered 3rd edition, but I've been watching a lot of good playthroughs. Heavy Cardboard did a really good playthrough. So if you want a more detailed explanation, Heavy Cardboard did a really good playthrough where they kind of spent a whole video explaining how everything works. And they had 2 people playing, it was Edward and a friend playing together. It's a really good example of how you can play it cooperatively. Hey John, welcome. The game is easy to auto-win. The 2nd edition makes it more difficult. That's interesting to hear. I've heard it's a challenge, so I'm keen to see how I go. I'm playing on the easier difficulty. Good to hear that feedback. Heavy Cardboard, that's yeah, me too. I've watched a lot of reviews and stuff, but then I started watching the Heavy Cardboard playthrough, and I was like, I have to get this game. So I already had it, the 2nd edition pre-ordered. Here it is now, P500, $69. That's very cheap. It's going at the moment in Australia for about 180 or so. So I bought a copy. A guy was selling his copy. I went out asking, actually, saying, does anyone have a copy for sale? When I saw the Heavy Cardboard video, and just had to get a 1st edition copy and play it. But I'm probably going to change my P500 pre-order just to the upgrade kit. Bridger also does a very good walkthrough. I haven't seen that. Bridger. Wear suits. Michael, I was thinking about doing the same kind of thing for this video. I thought, no, screw it, I'll just jump in. And I've tried I haven't tried to get the kids yet, but I may try, depending on how this goes. Okay, so I've drawn my 3 positive presidential attributes. I start the beginning of each turn sequence. So if I scroll down here, my APs are down the bottom here. These are my action points. So you've got actions and you've got action points, which you expend to take certain actions. I'm also on this easier difficulty level. Get every telephone, eyes and bodyguards. I love the idea. Cabinet effectiveness. So this is down here. They start on 5. Gives me more presidential action points, even more presidential action points. So I'm going to get 4 for being efficient, plus 3 for my better cabinet effectiveness. I also have control of Congress, so my party controls Congress. Now I place drawn friends and opponents on their moderate side if they have one. Okay, that's moderate. And that's moderate, so that should be, yeah. So these are my congressional friends. Look, I'm jumping ahead here because I haven't quite read the full setup, but I'm assuming the game is mostly set up bar a few of those little things. Then I remove one level 1 terror group. I can scroll over to the world area, zoom out a bit, and I'll remove one level 1 terror group from each of the 8 world regions. Okay, so delete that. Delete that. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's it, unless I've missed one. Yeah, okay. There are no wars in progress at the start of the game, so conflict track. There are no wars. There are no wars. There are no wars in progress. Okay. I don't know if I do anything here. There may be a few pauses as I check the governing manual, but I certainly can't see a war. No wars in progress. War progress results. 46. Waging a war, war progress. So let's consult the manual. So waging war. Wars are waged in an abstract manner. At the strength of regional counters. Okay. The war progress roll results are moved, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I think I'll leave those markers where they are for now. Then peer posture. Both Russia and China start at posture 1. Oh, wars in progress. Here we go. There are no wars in progress. Okay, I think they're all... Okay, nothing happening there. Okay, so China and Russia, where are they? Peer posture. Reminds you of the series. I've never seen The West Wing. I'm looking for peer posture. Here we go. Is this something to do with their posture? That's their posture. Here we go. I can see it now. Start at posture 1. So the Russians start at posture 1 and the Chinese are at posture 1. Now, on this easier difficulty level, there is a war I missed at the bottom. I did see that. US at war. So maybe do I delete this? There are no wars in progress. I'm a bit worried about deleting this. Okay, let's delete it. And I guess we delete the Taliban at war as well. And there are no troops here because there's no wars in progress. And I can decrease that to 0 and just reset it to the way everything else is set. I'm guessing, sorry. Again, we'll probably make some mistakes. Okay, so that's our easier difficulty setup. Okay, so well, that's one part of setup. I've got to determine now my presidential attributes. So in the easy game, I place the 12. Oh, that's already been done. Okay, we know who I am. Reveal the attributes and place them up here. Leave all those in the cup. I may be asked to draw them later. Do not apply any bonuses or penalties to these attributes until steps 1 and 2. All right, now I determine my White House and cabinet resources to help me in my administration. Now the game includes 2 counters for Andy Lewis, good Andy and bad Andy. Okay, I need to draw my vice president. So I draw, who have I got here? I've got Andy Lewis. And I don't know, is this a good Andy or a bad Andy? I don't know. He seems quite happy. Okay, so that's my vice president. Draw 1 counter to my running mate. Place that counter on its novice side in the vice president box in the cabinet portion of the White House section. We've done that. I don't get to select this one from a group of candidates as you do with the next 3. The game assumes you've already made your choice during the campaign and now you have to live with that selection for better or for worse. So Andy is my vice president. Now, for chief of staff, I draw 3. These are the candidates that my team will have vetted for me. So let's go 1. Oh, there we go. It draws 3 for me. We'll get Ellen Price, Kelly Borgeson, and John Lang. Okay. And I place my choice in the box. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly. The index is pretty good for the manual. Cabinet. I'm just going to quickly flick to this to see. So the first number is their domestic rating. The second number is their diplomatic rating. And their third number is their military rating. So if you're entirely new, I have a good Andy. Good to know. If you're entirely new to this game, basically you've got domestic affairs on the sort of center here. This is what's going on in the USA. And you've got international affairs. From reading through the booklet, this is how you lose the game. You lose the game here by things getting out of hand, terrorism, crises, unstable states, civil wars, etc., things going bad in the world, and me not being able to keep them contained. This is the USA, and this is how I win the game. This is how I gain legacy points, by achieving things here. Keeping scandals to a minimum, having an effective cabinet, having good party relations, doing well, basically, on the domestic front. So Richie is saying, pick someone with a 1 on the left. I appreciate the advice. I will go with Ellen Price and return these to the cup. By all means, guys, this could be really fun. Let me know what you think. You're my cabinet. You're my extended cabinet. So let me know what I should be doing here. Oh no, did I turn the wrong one? No, not Ellen Price. Oh, 1 on the left. Yes, I do want Ellen Price. So I'll turn John to the cup. I think I'll keep Ellen and put Kelly back in the cup as well. Return the 2 to the cup. Yep. So I've got Ellen Price as my Chief of Staff. Thank you, Ellen. Now, select my Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense following the same process. A diplomatic rating higher than 0. So we're looking for the middle number now. For these 2, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. So we draw 3. Looking somebody with, I've got nobody in the middle here, but Ivan has a 1 and a 0 on the left and the right, so I might grab him, return that to the cup, return that to the cup, and then hopefully I get somebody with a, here we go, we'll kill Kim Richards. They look good. Kim, she, I'm guessing, +1 action and a 1 domestic, 1 diplomatic. So I've got a bit of a mix here. Of the 3 I've chosen, I've got 3 points in domestic, 1 point in diplomatic, and 1 point in military. So hopefully on the domestic front, I'm quite strong, but I really don't know. Okay, so I place them in the White House section of the main game. I then set my cabinet effectiveness, which I've already done, as I mentioned. This is down here on the easier game. Set it at 5. Okay, so normal default is at 4. This is my very first game, so I'm going with 5. I then draw my exceptional White House resource. That sounds interesting. I draw my exceptional White House resource. Among my many cabinet members, advisors, and teams in the West Wing, you have one truly exceptional talent. To determine which resource I get, shuffle the 5 exceptional White House talent resource cards. All right, I'm assuming they're shuffled. And randomly select one. Okay, here we go. Okay, my cabinet includes one of the most skilled Treasury secretaries. I hope you can see that okay. I'll close that. Hover that over there. Skilled Treasury secretaries in history. Because of the secretary's positive influence on the economy, monetary policy, and financial institutions, you receive the following benefit each turn and number 1 immediately if this card is drawn during the crisis deck during the game. It's not. So at the start of each turn, I can place 1 improving economy marker on the US state of the economy track. Okay, so if I zoom out a bit, state of the economy, so I get 1. If I zoom out, can you still see that quite clearly? If I zoom, yep, hover over it, so you can see the green bar at the bottom. The right number is military, yeah. Quite possibly. It's recommended that you pick a good diplomatic rating, but I didn't have any, so I've picked a bit of a balance. For the second draw, I didn't have any with a diplomatic point. Okay, so at the start of my turn, I place 1 improving economy marker on that state of the economy track, and also place a cabinet effectiveness improving counter on the cabinet effectiveness track. Wow, so this is potentially going to go up even higher. That's really good, I think. Once per game, I may ignore and discard 1 revealed event card that is a domestic financial crisis or bank failure, place in the exceptional White House resources box. All right, so this goes up here. Oh, there's even a draw card button there. Look at that, I didn't even have to do that. All right, so this is my amazing Secretary of Treasury. I'm pretty excited about that. And this is again how the game kind of already, you create these branches, these stories. So if I can clear that, yep, Chief of Staff, you can see my cabinet officials down here. Chief of Staff, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. Ah, you're suggesting this should have been military. I've forgotten which 3 I drew, but you're right. Sorry, it says that this should be diplomacy and this should be military. I drew no diplomacy for this, and I should have drawn a military for that. You're right. But choices have been made. Mistakes have been made already. I don't know if Kim can help me as Secretary of Defense. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, party relations. Place my party relations counter at 6 on the party relations track. All right, let's find this party relations track. Here it is. Here are my party relations. I can have 4. Is there a 4 under there? 4 friends max. Anytime your party relations decrease to a box that lists a max number of friends that is less than your current number of friends, you remove. So you can lose friends. I'm not going to cheat, John. I can't. I'm going to deal with the people who've been appointed to me. Because you draw 3 at a time. You draw 3 for this, and then you draw 3 for this. You got to pick from the 3 you draw. All right. I think everything else should be fixed, but I'll run through it. The world opinion of the US. So if I zoom out a little bit, the world opinion of the US is set on 5. My relations with Congress is set at 5. Media relations is set at 5. Homeland security, 6. And state of the economy is 6. I place the domestic crisis counter on the one box of the domestic crises level. Domestic crises. This has got to be domestic crisis. Yep. Lingering domestic issues on the lingering domestic issues track. Yep. So that's my auto loss if it gets too high. Yeah, she's got an extra action. She can help. Then we get to the domestic situation. Okay, so in this step, I'll determine the domestic situation I've inherited, setting the domestic track values. I place the public approval counter in the 40% box. Place my public approval, this is all the way down here, in the 40% box. Here we go. 40% public approval. I won a hard-fought election, apparently, that included a strong third-party candidate. Thus, much of the country isn't fully loving the idea yet of having me as their president. I set my prestige to 6. There it is, prestige marker. I will zoom in a little bit. There we go. Prestige. Again, a reminder, these are my action points. This is basically victory on legacy points over here. And I set each of the domestic counters to these values. Oh, it's already been set. Sorry. Okay, I see. Got columns going on. All right. Now I need to determine the makeup of Congress. So I'm going to scroll out. This is be the turn sequence, which we'll get to in a moment. Okay. Congress, which is going to be up here. So I'm going to set my legislative agenda, determine my congressional friends and opponents, and the level of bipartisan cooperation. So I've kind of jumped ahead there a bit, but okay. So I've already got party control. Yep, already got party control, which I did earlier, which is here. Determine the American public's legislative priorities. Put all the counters in a cup, and then draw 5 randomly and place them here. So I draw a counter, draw a counter, draw a counter, draw a counter, draw a counter. Okay, so we've got, these are public priorities: social security, healthcare reform, lingering domestic issues, education reform, and job creation package. And place them in the order drawn. Okay, that's pretty done. Okay, now I set my legislative priorities. So these are the nation's priorities. These are my priorities. I place them in a cup and draw 1 randomly. This represents my campaign promise. I promised education reform, which is good because it aligns with what the American people want. And I place that in the campaign promise box. Then I empty the counters from the cup and choose my 3 priorities from the remaining counters. Okay, so maybe the pieces here. How do I select these? I thought maybe they'd be here, markers. Oh no, wait. Chits. And they've got to be here. Okay, so I can now choose specific. I can choose my 3 priorities from the remaining counters. Well, let's say social security, number 1, because it's the top national priority. It's what the people really want. And I'm a president for the people. Healthcare reform, number 2. Here we go. And lingering domestic issues. Look, is that a priority or a job creation package to improve our economy? Economy's good, domestic issues are good. All right, let's go. Look, it's number 3, so let's go lingering domestic issues. Keep it low, I guess. So they're the 3 administrative priorities. I've just picked them to align with the public priorities. Perfectly, basically, with my campaign promise. It actually suggests consider choosing administrative priorities that mirror the public priorities or support the greatest social initiatives that I want to pursue? Well, let's do this. Let's align exactly with the public priorities. Now, I have to go over to where my friends and enemies are. And depending on the party control that I chose, I draw a number of friends and opponents and place them in the boxes. If my party controls, I draw and place 3 friends and 2 opponents. Okay, 1, 2, 3, they're all moderate, and 2 opponents. And I flip him over to his, oh, he doesn't have a moderate side. So if I was on the easier game, I would always place them on their moderate side if they have one. But Anahi Vasquez does not have a friendly side, does not have a moderate side. Okay, so this will give me a high level of initial bipartisan cooperation. Leave the remainder in their cups. Okay, so now I examine my friends and opponents and I look for radical and moderate ratings. If there are more total radicals than moderates, there are not. They're not equal. There are, in fact, more moderates than radicals because I'm on the easier mode. So I place the bipartisan cooperation marker in the leftmost 2 box on the bipartisan cooperation track. We will have a cooperative Congress. Very good to hear. All right, now I get to place US military forces, and most of this looks to be done. So I'm just going to do a quick survey. In continental US, we've got 1 US Air Force, 1 US Marine Corps, 1 carrier, 1 Spec Ops, and 1 Intel. And then in the corresponding US military assets legislative holding box on the domestic game board, I place 2, 3, 2, 1, and 1. So that's all done. I was just double checking that that's all correct. It is. When I pass the Approve and Fund Expanded Military Operations Bill, I will move assets from this holding box to the US Forces holding box. Likewise, when I pass Security and Defence, I advance some more units over. So I can pass bills to effectively recruit from my military assets. It says it quite clearly there on passage of Bill 16 or Security and Defence legislation. All right, gives me more forces. Okay, let's sort out the rest of the world. And again, I'm pretty sure this has all been done. Set all conflict markers on there at start in the global conflict track. So they should be at start. Okay, yep. So they've all got their at start markers. That's all done. I'm just kind of running through this so I know where everything is. So these are the conflict status markers and relative strength markers. We have the Iran nuclear program at its at start setting, which is long-range missile testing. North Korea is doing long-range missile testing. I set up strategic capabilities. That's all set up here. Just a survey. I'm ahead in Air Force training, ahead in ground forces, ahead in naval, behind in cyber warfare, behind in space warfare, ahead in strategic missiles tied with Russia, and well ahead in strategic reconnaissance and intel gathering. All right, this is a long setup. Russia and China. I set up, and they are all the way over on the other side of the world. Here we have Russia. Their economy is on, it says, oh yeah, state of the economy is on 4. China is 5. Posture is 1 for both of them. I draw and place 1 multilateral sanctions counter on Russia. Draw a multilateral sanctions counter. So, multilateral sanctions. That's interesting. Draw 2 tension counters on Russia. Tensions. Okay. And 1 tension counter on China. All right, this is a really good vassal module. Very easy to navigate. Just right click, draw the counter you want. Look at that. Pick whatever you want. I place Russia's relations with the US on the 2 box, along with a trending anti-US counter. So if I zoom in, so normally in the full game, these are full-size counters. In the vassal module, there's little tabs that you can kind of attach to the counter, which is really cool. And China's relations with the US is on the 4 track, which is trading partners. Okay, and that's it. Each world region has a similar setup, except that only the Eurozone has a state of the economy track. After setting up each region, adjust the terror groups according to my difficulty. So the terror groups have been adjusted. I'm just going to check if there's any other counters in the Eurozone. Place 1 Russian influence, the NATO and UK ally. Relations are very close. Got US forces here. And oh, okay, here we go. We've got, this is the Mediterranean. We've got 1 carrier and 1 US Marine. Sorry. Yeah, 1 carrier, 1 US Marine Corps in the Med. That's what we've got here. All right, so we've even got the sort of sea zones. Yeah, Rich is saying it's the best vassal he's used. It's really, I mean, so far, really impressed. Which is, you know, it's going to be a challenge because it is so big. So I'm going to keep trying to zoom in as close as I can so you can see what's going on. Okay, Eastern Europe. It's just, I'm not sure if there are any additional counters to draw. That's why I'm going through everything. Regional alignment is 6 here. Regional stability is 5. Regional crisis is 1. We have 1 Russian influence counter, 1 level 1 terror group, which I've already removed because we're playing on easy. 1 Civil War ceasefire counter, 1 US Army LT. Okay. The Middle East, down here. Regional alignment 5, stability 4. Trending anti-US. Stability is 4. Crisis level is 3, so this is something we need to address. Okay. I've got an Israel counter. Place 1 tensions counter on the Israel ally box. Oh, let me just check that. Go back to, are there any tensions in the USA? Continental USA. No, not that I can see. So I drew the counters for Russia and China. No tension in Europe. No tension in Eastern Europe. We draw 1 tension marker in the Israel ally box. Yep. The Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, ally counter to the side of the region. No counter goes on the ally box at start, as it starts as a close ally. Okay. Place a tensions counter on the Gulf states ally box. 1 on the Iran rogue state. So you've actually got to draw this. 1 civil war counter on the civil war representing Syria. 2 unstable state counters there. Wow. 3 level 2 terror groups. I've removed the 1 already. 1 Russian influence counter. 1 intel. Yep, that's all set up. All right. So Africa, down here. One China influence, civil war, 2 unstable states, terror groups. We've got 2 level 1, 1 level 2, but I've already removed 1. Place 1 carrier in the Indian Ocean. All right, Central and Southern Asia. Here we are. Russia influence, China influence. A level 2 terror group should remain, 1 unstable state. Level 1 rogue state. Here we are. This represents the Taliban and allies in Afghanistan. If playing normal or harder, place a war counter. So we remove that war counter because I'm on easy. The India ally counter goes to close. Add a tensions counter on the Indian ally box. And that's it. Asia and the Pacific. We have regional alignment 6. Stability 6, regional crisis 1. Japan ally on its very close. Australia on its very close. ROK here on its very close. Place a tension in the ROK ally box. Okay. Tension and a UN sanctions on North Korea rogue state box. Tensions and a UN sanctions. All right. So pieces? No. Pieces. Is UN sanctions here or is that in the chits? UN sanctions. Is that a UN or is that no? Sorry, UN sanction. This one, UN sanction over here on the North Korea box. Okay, 1 China influence, we've got. I've already moved the level 1 terror group. We have a level 2 terror group. US forces are there, and we have a carrier in the Eastern Pacific. Looking now at Central America. Regional alignment 5, stability 4, regional crises 2, level 1 terror group removed, level 2 terror group remains, 1 unstable state, there it is, 1 intel, 1 spec ops, that's it. South America. Alignment 5, stability 5, regional crises 1, China influence, level 1 terror group already remained, and 1 unstable state counter. And then continental US, place a Canada ally on very close. It also holds my initial forces. Don't forget to adjust terror groups for my difficulty and adjust the Russian and Chinese influence track. We are done. I begin with no wars in progress, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't want a random war, thank you very much. That's an optional, which I won't do. Now I construct the crisis deck. All right. So we come all the way, looking at the top left of the board now, and there'll be some cards popping up here. Now I kind of think this, I want to click this button. What this will do is it'll shuffle the event cards and divide them into 4 stacks. Blah, blah, blah. It'll remove stacks. I think I'm just going to click this and see if that does it. Hey! So now I should have, it should all be set up. U1, U2, U3, U4. All the removed events go back in the box. Then I shuffle the natural disasters, which are the red cards here. And I place one face down in each of the 4 stacks. That should be done as well. If I draw a specific card, I probably don't want to look at it, do I? Is there a natural disaster here? I'm going to assume there is. The natural disasters. Because the cards are numbered, so I should be able to know by, you'd think, maybe by components. The 4 card decks. Natural disasters. Page 15. They... Yeah, I can't quite find that information, so I'm just going to hope that there is a natural disaster in there. I could see some reference to. Oh, actually, maybe it's in the How to Play book. I saw it. I'm sure I saw a breakdown of the cards. Yes, natural disasters are red, number 6 to 13. So there we go. I can see a natural disaster there. I'm not going to try and read too much into that. Just be careful if you're in the Midwest. Alright, so that's been done. That's all shuffled for an easy game. At this point, what you do next depends on the difficulty level. Shuffle all the terrorism cards for an easy game. That's what I'm after here. First game. Shuffle these and place 2 face down in each of the 4 stacks. Okay, again, if I can just go back. The terrorism cards have numbers on them. They're numbered 14 to 33. So if I look through here, draw a specific card, I want to look for a 14 to 33. 14, I can see stuff going on there, 14 to 33. So I know that that's been done as well. Likewise, cascading events are in here, and we're done. Now, finally, take one of the remaining exceptional White House resource cards, after I chose one already earlier, and place it in the Year 2 stack. So that should already be in there. Place the remainder in the box. They won't be used. Shuffle each of the 4 stacks. They are done. I'm going to guess that cascading events are seeded as well. Go to the beginning of the turn sequence. In the turn sequence flipbook, I'm ready to start with the beginning of each turn sequence. All right. That is set up. Oh boy. So, we're ready to get cracking. I do have my physical, I can show you this just a moment. All right, so here's my physical flip sequence playbook. This is solid mounted cardstock. This is, well, not mounted, it's good sturdy stock. So I've got this in front of me. I'm just going to put this right down here and work through it 1 page at a time. Here we go, page 1. Now, something to keep in mind as well. Two special rules. You can spend, when I'm taking my actions, I can spend 1 action point, and a reminder these are down here, to re-roll any die roll that occurs as part of one of my master actions. Diplomatic, domestic, military, or presidential. Once per roll, but I must then take the second roll. Best advice for the game, read every word and apply exactly what it says. Thank Richie. It's really, thus far, pretty impressed with how clear everything is. I can also spend, is it 2 action points to take an additional action? We'll see how we get to that. Okay, so beginning of turn sequence. We look here and perform beginning turn sequence, page 4 of the flipbook. Okay, so let's get to page 4, beginning of turn sequence. I'm sorry I can't show you this. It's not part of the module, but hello, it is part of this is on the GMT website. So I don't know if this is helpful if you'd like to follow along, but here's what I'll be reading from. Beginning of each turn sequence. This is effectively what I have in front of me. I don't know if it's different. This is probably the slightly, this says 2023 copyright. Mine is 2023 as well. So I don't know if it's changed from the one I have. But you can get that on the GMT website if you'd like to follow along or figure out what everyone's doing as they work through this stage. So at the beginning of each turn or year, I perform 6 steps. First of all, I determine how many action points I start the year with. And we've already determined, because I'm playing on the easier level, that I start with 20. This has already been done. Now, from the cabinet effectiveness track, I gain an additional 3 APs. 1, 2, 3. I am, you may recall, efficient. So I get an additional 4 APs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 3 APs if I'm disorganized. I am certainly not disorganized. Plus 2 if I have the amazing Chief of Staff. As a reminder here, this is my amazing Secretary of Treasury, which I'll do in just a moment. So I don't have the amazing Chief of Staff. Place your counters on the appropriate box corresponding to my final total. So I've got 27 action points. Now I apply any other effects gained from presidential attributes or my White House resources. So I get +1 imp, business friendly, +1 imp, +1 imp. I don't know what +1 imp. Imp, business friendly. There's got to be a summary of these, right? These are attributes. So if I look up presidential attributes, page 14, and I go to business friendly, it adds economy improving counter to the US state of the economy track. Okay, so the economy is, this is difficult to see, but this little marker is a trending up. +1 improving economy at the start of each turn. That's what it means. Okay, and +3 public appeal per turn. +3 public appeal. Public appeal. Public appeal. And now, this is, I think this is 3 boxes up. So I go 1, 2, 3 to 46. But I'm going to double check that. Public appeal, public approval, sorry, page 19. Each box, blah, blah, blah. When you gain a PA, you move your approval marker, the number of boxes to the right, raising your approval by 2%. So at the start of the year, people are already happy with me. My approval rating, well, my public approval has gone up 6% already. It's one of the most important ratings in the game, apparently, as my presidency and my ability to accomplish things can rise or fall with the level of public support. Low public approval makes my tasks harder. Higher makes it easier. It's gained in a number of ways, such as passing legislation, resolving crisis. It can be lost in an even large number of ways. The public is so fickle. Remember the effect of core support, which twice a turn or year may alter my PA. Okay, good things to keep in mind. So my economy, yeah, where is my economy? Here it is. So, but that's my personality. Then, hello, I may place 1 improving economy marker on the US state of the economy track. Now, I've already got 1 there. When you add a second one, when there is already a trending marker, this should, I believe you remove the marker and push it up. Sorry, let me just double check this. If instructed to place an improving counter on a trending track which already has one, remove it and increase the value by 1. So I was hoping it might just automatically go up, but no. There we go. So look, the economy has never been in a greater state because of my my business-friendly approach to governance and my amazing Secretary of State. I also place a cabinet effectiveness improving on the cabinet effectiveness track. So they're trending up as well. Things are looking good at the start of this presidency. Okay, that's it for that any other effects. On turn 1, Okay, I don't do cabinet member experience. On turn 1, I don't replace a key cabinet member. On turn 1, I don't improve the cabinet. So, step 6 here. Yep, so we don't do... No, we're still up in this stage here. Now, last thing I do is I set focus region for national intelligence collection. So I can either have 1 or 2 focused, 1 or 2 focused national intelligence counters this turn. Here's how I determine which. I check my strategic capabilities for both cyber warfare and strategic reconnaissance intelligence gathering. If both of these values are greater than or equal to China's and Russia's values, I get 2. In any other case, so that's not the case, so I need to improve cybersecurity. In any other case, I get 1 focused national intelligence counter. So I need to move this up to equal to or greater than China and Russia's values, and then I'll get 2. So that's going to be one of my early goals, is to improve the state of cyber warfare in the USA. I place my focused, now I'm guessing this is going to be a focused national intelligence counter. There it is. I'm going to place this focused national intelligence counter in 1 world region of my choice, no more than 1 country per region. Now I'm very worried about the Middle East, so I'm going to place focused national intelligence collection in the Middle East. Cannot place it in Russia or China. What I want to do is gather intelligence here, try and reduce these regional crises. It's just a reminder in the chart that as I'm a new player, I get a -1 dice roll modifier on all my player die rolls, not ally or peer, in addition to any other dice roll modifiers. All right, so we're gathering focused national intelligence collection. And now, State of the Union. Now I now start my year with special activations to help prepare me for what is coming ahead. I place my current action on the segment where it says State of the Union. I've done that. And then I just move my counter down as I complete each section. So, this is skipped on turn 1. Normally here, I'd make my State of the Union address, roll on the chart to determine what happens, but I ignore that on turn 1. You can see here, not on turn 1 as well, State of the Economy impact. This does not happen on turn 1 either. This is where I perform a number of economic actions, blah, blah, blah. For each economic assistance action I'm allowed, I can improve ally relations or place trending pro-US counters on the 8 world regions. So a good economy is really going to help that. Then we go to set POTUS cabinet focus. All right. I can place or move any of the 6 cabinet focus counters to reflect my new domestic priorities for the year. I can remove tension counters if there are any here. There are none. I will be able to remove 1. Place or move. Okay, so at the start of each turn, set your focus for this turn by placing the 6 markers on the 6 space with 1 indicating my highest priority. All right, so what is going to be my highest priority? Place or move. All right, I think, look, we've got Social Security up the top here. It doesn't really reflect. All right, improve relations with Congress. Let's go through them. Improve relations with Congress. This improves RWC. Relations with Congress. Where is my relations with Congress? Where is it? Oh, relations with Congress. That'll push that up by 1 box. That could help with bipartisan support and the like. Okay, that's something to consider. the economy is always going to be important, but it's already pretty strong. Homeland security. This will let me place an improving economy marker. Don't need it because I've already got such a strong economy. I missed improved strategic capabilities. Strategic capabilities. Oh, that happens at the end. Thank you. Okay, let's go back. So that doesn't happen, but this bottom half does. That does happen. Thank you. Thanks, John and Richie. So if the state of the economy is a 5 or higher, which it is, I roll for 2 different capabilities. So I roll for 2 different capabilities, 2 different strategic capabilities. Here we go. 2 different, and this is where watching through the heavy cardboard, they did clarify that it has to be 2 different ones. I'm going to roll for cyber warfare. Okay. If there's any DARPA rapid capability counters on a track, I get 1 roll for each. No. For each capability I choose to improve, roll a d10. Secretary of Defense military rating provides a dice roll modifier. This is why it's good to have a Secretary of Defense military rating. I have none. So I need a 1 to 5 result to improve this. Let's roll and see. Wow. This is where a half-decent Secretary of Defense would have helped me with cyber security. Sigh. Okay, not to worry. I'm going to try to improve space warfare just to try and get above the Chinese as well. 2. So that does improve. All right, I get 2 boxes because of my strong state of the economy. Now, thanks for pointing that out. I would have missed that little bottom half of that box. Now I set my focus. So I've got 6 for the economy because my economy is already strong. What else? Homeland security, things are already, I can decrease one terror group in the US by 1 level. There are no terror groups in the continental US, so I'm less concerned with that immediately. So 5 here. Public relations, improve my public relations or increase public and media. I like that idea. That could be a priority. Public relations, it starts low, so getting it high would be great. Address domestic issues, -1 to domestic crises. Look, they're on 2. It'd be good to lower them. If already 0 plus 2, yeah, so it'd be good to lower domestic. Oh no, way up, hold on. If I can lower it to 1, have no domestic crises whatsoever, that'd be great. And then cabinet effectiveness, place an improving marker. Look, that's always going to be great. So let's, that gives me more action points. Let's make that 4, and I'll try and improve relations with Congress, which starts pretty low. So these are my priorities. First priority is public and press relations, and then addressing the domestic crisis, and then improving relations with Congress, cabinet effectiveness, homeland security, and the economy. I'm not saying these aren't important, I'm just saying they're already pretty... Homeland security is already pretty good, I think. So I'm less concerned about those, and the economy is super strong. I can afford to put my eye on other things at the moment. So as I said, there are no tension counters running through here. If there were, I place them next to my focus priority counters, starting with 6, then 5, then 4, and so on. Now, actions. 1 action for the POTUS and each cabinet member. As president, I can form any 1 action from any of the actions described on the 4 master action. There's another group of sheets that I've got. Where are they all? Here they are, down the bottom of my pile of booklets. Right, so I've got domestic master actions, presidential master actions, diplomatic master actions, and military master actions. I can perform 1 action from any of these, or remove a tensions marker from anywhere on the board, including Russia or China. I can exchange an action for 1 AP. Each cabinet member may also perform one action of the type which they're eligible for. So it's summarised that the VP and Secretary of State can perform diplomatic actions. Yeah, they've all got different actions available to them. All right, what am I going to do? This is where I've got a broad range of choices available. I can have a presidential presence, which raises my rating on media relations. I can use the bully pulpit to rally support for or against a bill in Congress. Now, this increases the possibility of a bill passing. I can corral the cabinet to improve my cabinet effectiveness. Okay, this will give me extra actions. So do I want to start the year and start my my tenure as president by really improving my cabinet effectiveness? If I can just write up, really have a really effective cabinet, get a lot of actions per turn. The more action points, I guess the more I can do, really. So I'm leaning towards corralling the cabinet to improve this. That's one option. There are these are domestic actions, right? There are diplomatic actions. I can make a UN speech to create goodwill, which improves regional alignment. I can make a presidential trip to increase public approval and UN goodwill. That would be good as well. It'd be good to get my public approval rating up early to increase my effectiveness. I can call up the master action sheet. Look at this. Hey, it's all here. All right, so presidential. I don't know where, so this is only, here we go, 2 pages. A presidential trip, invite an allied leader. I can put those charts away now, that's handy. Invite an allied leader to the White House to improve relations. Improve relations, reduce tensions, or I can ask for the resignation. Attempt to get a key cabinet member with a high rating. What are the effects here? Make an approval check. I could lose public approval there. Draw new candidates. Tempting. Other domestic actions. During any blue action segment, I can spend 2 action points to take 1 additional action. This is also tempting because I've got a lot of actions now. I've got a lot of action points, but only 1 action. So I don't need to stimulate the economy. Domestic crises, they are up here on 1. Improve relations with Congress, always important. Here are the modifiers. If relations with Congress is number 1, it's not on cabinet focus. What was my number 1 focus? I've forgotten already. Public press relations. So public press relations is my number 1 priority. Party relations, track terror, raid terror, remove a tensions counter, encourage bipartisanship would be nice. Discredit an opponent, removes an opponent back to the cup. Diplomatic, crisis relief, improve a region's alignment. There's a lot of choices here. Attempt to remove Chinese or Russian influence in a region, make a trade agreement. Or military, request rapid capabilities. Direct intel gathering ops against 2 different terror groups. Move or deploy forces, perform a raid. Look, I'm thinking this could improve my public approval. No dice roll modifiers. What I'm looking at is, are there any actions that take advantage of my public press relations focus? All right. Public press relations. domestic actions that maybe I can take? Yeah, nothing really. Nothing that really takes advantage of that. Presidential, what is my UN goodwill as well? Okay, so UN, media relations, United Nations, world opinion of the US, Homeland Security, these could all be bumped up. Everything here could be bumped up. I think, as I said, I'm going to try and corral the cabinet. So I'm trying to improve my cabinet's effectiveness. This is kind of an investment in my cabinet. I do it early. It improves the actions I get for future turns. Action points I have available for future turns. So it cost me 1 action. And I'm going to spend an action point. I have an optional action point expenditure for a -1 dice roll modifier. Okay. I need the domestic charts. Domestic charts booklet. Domestic charts booklet. Okay. So that's -1 to my roll. What are my attributes? I'm not a team builder. I add half, rounded down, the number of tension counters in the POTUS cabinet, so 0. So it's good to do this early before there's any tension counters here. So I have a net -1. The domestic rating of my chief of staff is -1 as well, so -2. I've got a -2 roll, and I'm looking at table D2 in this domestic chart booklet, which I can't show you. It's a physical chart here. So a 9 -2 is 7. This is disarray. Move left 1 box on the cabinet effectiveness track. Oh no, minus another 1 is 6, which is the same effect. So I'm going to spend an action point to re-roll that. Okay, that's about as bad as I can get. Let's try again. 5 -3 is a 2. It's improving. So now I place an improving marker on my cabinet effectiveness. It already has one. So I remove it and increase my cabinet. 1 advisor becomes... oh no, sorry. That's if I rolled a 0 or less. So my cabinet has already improved. It was already improving. I don't have any goodwill yet. Oh, this is goodwill down here. Sorry, I was looking for it. Maybe I want some goodwill. Now I can spend... I can also, early game, I'm going to spend an action point. I think it's 1 action point. Or is it 2? I think it's 2 action points. 2 action points. You can spend 2 action points to receive an additional action. All right, I want to get these some good actions in early before things start to go bad. I want to get ahead of the curve. What I'd love is more public approval. All right, I don't know exactly how this is going to impact things, but if I can get it above 60, I know I just saw somewhere that this gives me a positive modifier to some things. So I want to, what do I want to do? I want to get a presidential presence. I want to raise my rating on the media relations and public approval track with media interviews, rallies, and social media. This cost me 1 action. I can spend an action point from -1 dice roll modifier. I don't have the orator or media savvy attribute. So I roll the dice. It's -1, -2 because I'm a beginner, which is a 5. Now 5, I make a presidential prestige check on D18. Presidential prestige check. Prestige is here. Okay, so 7 -1 is 6. -2 is 5. So I passed. So this required a track check in effect. So I'm looking at the prestige. My prestige is 6. I need a 6 or less. I subtract 2, 1 for the action point I spent, 1 because I'm a rookie, gives me a 5. It's less than or equal to the rating, so I pass. If I pass, if I get a 1 or less, it's brilliant. If I pass, but the result is greater than 1, I get +2 public approval or +1 media relations. Now, what would media relations do? It would give me +1 public approval. So I'm going to increase my media relations as a vehicle for improving my public approval. Media relations, page 26. All right, media relations. So it measures my relationship with the media, and it can have a direct impact on how easily I achieve my goals and my level of public approval. But it degrades over time. Twice a year, it will decrease by 1 box. Okay. So I'm just wondering. This is my media slant. So certain cards have the -1 or +1 designation. When I draw a media slant card, after forming what actions are on the text, I check the media's slant on this issue, and I'll gain additional public approval based on this. So this, if I draw a media slant card, I will now gain 1 public approval because the media will now put a positive slant on these things. So I think that was a good early decision to make. As I said, I'm investing in my my image in these early years of my presidency. That's my one action, right? That's just me. Now my cabinet, so my vice president, they can also perform actions. My VP can perform a diplomatic action. My VP can perform a diplomatic. See the only POTUS vice president. You can see here. This is okay. Hold on. Yeah, VP has a lot of. So this is only president. Yeah, I did that, and I corralled the cabinet. So that was good. That was good that I did those, and not my cabinet, because now my cabinet can do these other things. On all your player die rolls below, all your player die rolls. I don't know what the distinction between a player die roll and a non-player die. Yeah, what's a non-player die roll? All player, not ally or peer die rolls. What's an ally or peer? Vice President and Chief of Staff. So I think these roles I don't get the re-roll because they must be my peers, I'm guessing. There's no glossary explaining what a peer is, but I'm thinking that my Vice President and Cabinet would be my peers. So I wouldn't get, still get the -1, but I cannot spend the re-roll. All right, so what do I want to do? What does my Vice President want to do? Chief of Staff can also use this. Secretary of State. So I should be mindful that my staff are limited. When you or your staff... Oh, okay, so play role is my staff doing something. All right, thanks, Richie. All right, so I'm looking at my Secretary of State. They're not great with the diplomatic actions. So I might get my Secretary of State to do... Oh, that's all I can do. Okay. Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff is good with domestic. So let's get my Vice President can do anything. Do I have to do it in an order? Here's the next question. Oh, and I have +1 action for Andy and +1 action for Kim. So they get 2 actions. All right. So Andy can do 2 things. That's good. That makes up for my deficiencies in diplomatic issues. So I might get Ellen first to lead a domestic action. She's not going to stimulate the economy. It's already strong. Can she resolve a diplomatic crisis? It's not my top priority. Where am I looking? Here I am. It's not my number 1. What did I put it as? Number 2. Okay. All right. Would like to reduce this. I need to make a cabinet effectiveness check. Again, so this is quite high now. 6 or less. Chief of Staff, Vice President or Chief of Staff's domestic rating. Okay, so I'm going to use Ellen. Ellen is going to address a domestic crisis. Okay. It cost me 1 action, no action points. I make a cabinet effectiveness check. It's level 6, so I need 6 or less. Oh, crikey. I subtract 1 for Ellen's domestic rating, makes it 8. 1 because I'm a beginner, which makes it 7. There are a couple of other modifiers. The LDI, current box on the LDI track. Current box, oh, here's a current box. It's 0. That's okay. That's a 7, which is a failure. So I'm going to spend an action point to re-roll that. An 8. Minus the 2 again will give me a 6. 6 or less is a success. Barely pass. I decrease the domestic crisis track in the continental US by 1. And I get +1 public approval. How about that? I don't know. I feel like I'm burning through these APs. Yeah, I don't know. And it's very early. There's a lot of things to go. I don't know. I don't know how quickly I should be burning through these, but look, as I said, trying to set up a good platform for the future. So Ellen has used her actions. She's done. Look at that. There's another little marker to show that I've done that. All right, what else am I going to do? That was my Chief of Staff. Now let's go with Ivan, my Secretary of State, because he's not very versatile. He can only do diplomatic master actions. Okay, crisis relief. Well, look, I don't really have. I can prevent regional crisis becoming major crisis, which spawn terror groups. Be good to do that. Attempt to improve one region's alignment, make a trade agreement, remove Chinese or Russian influence, to decrease tensions, summit, improve relations with China or Russia, impose sanctions, de-escalate a conflict, prevent a war from breaking out. Are there any wars about to break out? So they're going to scroll right down to bottom left. Conflicts are all pretty low. Everything's in the 2 except for the Russia-Ukraine situation. Maybe I try to de-escalate this situation here. Or, you know, they're not really... where is my Secretary of State? Ivan. Okay, so he's 1-0. So we can only do diplomatic, domestic, diplomatic, military. So he's pretty poor at these diplomatic actions. It's the only thing I can do. There's so many options. Broker or offer a peace. Bring a civil war to an end. What's my relations with Congress? It is pretty low. So maybe I'll try and improve relations with Congress before I do any of that. So this is where, the order in which you chain these events together. I can try and do something now. And if I have relations with Congress that are great, it improves my ability to succeed. I can get, for example, my Vice President, Andy, to improve relations with Congress in the hope of, bumping that up. Probably not going to go up too high. But yeah, let's try that. Let's get Andy. So Andy, my Vice President, he's going to try and improve relations with Congress to gain advantages and mitigate congressional manoeuvring and drama. It may only be used once per activation segment. Okay. If my party controls both houses of Congress. Yep. And your party relationship is 5 or more. Party relations is 5 or more. Yep. I can choose to forgo a die roll and resolve a +1 to relation with combat track result. It does cost an action, but not an AP. Otherwise, I have to roll. Look, I'm going to do that. So because I have such, a good foundation for good relations, party relations are good, we control both houses, I get to forgo a roll and improve relations with Congress. That is one of Andy's actions. Thank you, Andy. My Vice President has gone in to bat. He's instantly, automatically improved relations with Congress. That's one of his actions. I can only do that once per activation segment, so I can't repeat it. But now I've got a better relation with Congress. Pretty happy with that. Okay, what else do I want to do? Do I want to get more party relations? It's already pretty good. I could improve it. There's no terrorism, no domestic terrorism. Encourage bipartisanship. Bipartisan cooperation counter. Where is that bipartisan? It's very, very close to cooperative. I can pass 2 bills. Yes, I could get that higher, but no real need to right now. I could remove Anahi back to the draw cup. It cost me 1 action. Oh, though, it could go bad. Oh, this could really backfire. So I'm looking at this action here. Discredit an opponent to try and place an opponent back to the draw cup. So try and get rid of Anahi, he's quite radical. But look, I've got a. It's not urgent, so I don't need to do that right now. What other actions can the Vice President take? You can do diplomatic actions as well. So, crisis relief, improve a region's alignment, a trade agreement, remove Chinese or Russian influence, decrease tensions, have a summit, sanctions, peace, even military. I don't think I need any military actions because there's peace all over the world at the moment. I don't know. Maybe I look at the world and I go, okay, I know things are bad in the Middle East, so let's get Andy to come over to the Middle East and try and resolve a crisis, address a diplomatic crisis. What I want to do is reduce regional crises. That's the effect I want to have. So this must be diplomatic. Decrease conflict. I want to reduce a region's crisis level. Here we go. So this is the The Vice President can do a diplomatic action. I'm going to do some crisis relief. I can prevent regional crises getting worse, basically. One action, so this is Andy's second action. I'm going to choose a region. I'm going to choose the Middle East here and roll a d10. I subtract 1 for Andy. The regional stability is not 6 or higher. Stability, it's pretty low. So I don't get that. I get a -1 because I'm a rookie, which is a 2. Decrease regional crisis by 1 box. Geez, 1 fewer. And I would have got another one. All right, and Andy has spent his 2 actions. I think he did pretty well. Having a lot of success so far. Very happy with my cabinet and the work they're doing. But now we get to Ivan, my Secretary of State, who is focused on diplomatic actions, and he's not a great diplomat. So, what's he going to do? Something that doesn't really require his diplomatic rating. He can attempt to remove Chinese or Russian influence in a region. All right, where maybe remove Russian influence from the Middle East. So looking here at this action maybe, I could try to make a trade agreement with a region. What is the effect here? I don't quite know the implications of that. Decrease tensions, a summit. A bit worried about doing that at this stage. Impose sanctions, I'm not really keen to do that. Prevent a war from breaking out, requires diplomatic ratings. So let's look at Ivan removing influence to protect regional alignment with the USA in the Middle East. So this cost me an action. I choose a region with a regional alignment of 7 or 8. Oh wow, so it's going to have a regional alignment of 7 or 8. Nothing has a regional alignment of 7 or 8, so I can't do that. Or 6 if regional crises are 0. So, here we go. So Asia Pacific, Australia's backyard. So regional alignment is 6. I can do this if regional crises are 0. They're not 0. Is there any region where there are 0 regional crises? Eurozone. Okay, here we go. So regional crisis here is 0, which means I can pick a region with stability 6. All right, so choose a region with an alignment of 6 if crises are 0. Then I roll a d10. Done. On a 1 to 6, I remove 1 Russian or Chinese influence counter. Done. So I've removed Russian influence from the Eurozone. That's just this little area here. 6 if regional crisis is 0. That's pretty straightforward. That's done, and well done, Ivan. Yeah, I was a bit worried about you, but you did your job. Now we get to Kim. Kim, Secretary of Defense, she gets 2 actions, sure, but she's not good at military stuff. Not a good Secretary of Defense, to be frank, but let's have a look at what she can do. Improve my position and capabilities in the world. Direct intel gathering. So maybe we look at, yes, this one, focused national intelligence counter. This is what I've got over here in the Middle East, my focused national intel counter. So I'm going to try and gain intel on terror groups to enable operations to find and target them. One action, select 2 terror groups. Let's say 1, 2. And for each group, roll a d10. First roll is a 7, -1. Do I have US intel advisors in the region? No. Yes, I do. -2. So does adjust the Russian, before I do that, adjust the Russian influence track by 1. The Russian influence track. I need to find the Russian influence track first. Russian influence, page 30. Don't know where the Russian influence track is. Bottom right. Bottom right. Oh, Russian influence. Oh, there's nothing here. Should there be something here? There's no counter at all. Russian influence, maybe? Maybe I missed setting that up. So watch... just going back to the scenario setup. Russia and China. I need to count for both Russia and China. Total their influence. Okay, so I've got 1 China, 2 China, 3 China, 4 China, 4 China, and Russia has just lost 1. They've got 1, 2, 3 Russian influence. Okay, there we go. Thanks for that, Richie. If I get too much, I can auto lose. Chinese victory if they become too influential. Russian victory if they have a base in Eastern Europe. So it's good that I've removed that as well. All right, so what was I up to? I was trying to do a search in the Middle East and I rolled poorly. Did I? Master actions, I was doing this... No, I hadn't rolled yet, had I? No, I did roll. Did I roll for this? I can't even remember if I rolled for it. I don't think I had rolled yet, right? Apologies. I think I was getting ready to roll. If you think I have rolled, let me know. I've completely forgotten. Okay, so 2 terror groups. I roll a d10 for each. -1, -2. I think I did roll that. That 7 was for this roll. Okay, so that's 1 terror group unaffected. For the second one, success. Place them in the gathering box. Place them in the gathering box there of the region's intel track. Or if it was already on the track, move it 1 to the box to the right. Okay, that's good. So I gathered intel on 1 level 2 terror group in that region, and that is 1 action by Kim. Kim has another action to go. Another military action. Can I do that again? What other military actions can I do? Arms sales, resupply, strengthen relations to gain leverage, go to war or make a cyber attack. Oh, my cyber attack capabilities are very low. Use military professionals to treat disease, build schools or clinics. Yeah, I mean, this sounds pretty good. Oh, geez, I could, yeah, subtract regional crises. So this might be good. In the Middle East, +1 if Russia or China influence counter in the region. So that's going to deter it. What else? Okay, in Asia Pacific down here, oh, there's a Chinese influence. So I need a space without Chinese or Russian influence. There aren't many. Here we go. Central America. What I'm going to do is use military professionals to treat disease, build schools and clinics, or create other infrastructure in a war-torn region. This could be Central America. In a region, this can only be taken in regions with a war or civil war, or with a war or a civil war. Okay, so it's going to be, now looking at the Middle East here, despite the Russian influence counter. I will try it. Okay, I'm going to try it. Could be risky. So there's a civil war here, so I can try it here. I roll a d10, and this can go very badly if I roll poorly. A 4 is good. +1 is 5, minus nothing. -1 to regional crises in the region. That's good. Okay, this would be nice as well, but you know, I've reduced regional crises in the Middle East from the verge of a major crisis down to 1. Well done. Second, look at these guys. They don't need military ratings. They do it all by themselves. All right, that brings us to, I believe, that's all my actions done. That's my actions. Move counter forward 1 space. We zip up here and we see, this concludes the US special activation portion of your turn. My 4 quarterly activation phases now begins. This is a special start of turn sequence just done. How are we going for time here? I have no idea what the time is up to. And I better be careful because the mic battery is running a bit flat. So we might be able to get a little bit further into this. Okay, so Russia, begin. Activations 1 and 3 are identical. So this is identical to this, with one exception. Activation phase 3 has 1 extra segment, 1 action for POTUS and each cabinet member. This area here. That's the only difference between this and this. After I finish the US special activations at your turn, you begin here. When you finish activation 2, you basically repeat this. Yep, okay. So, Russia or China acts. It's activation phase 1, so I roll a d10. It's a 5. And I determine which country acts using the results below. So Russia acts, and I consult the world peer about that. The mic receiver flipped off. Hopefully you can hear me now. Testing, yep, that looks to be okay. Let me know, just double check that you can hear me. Yep, that seems to be good. Okay, so sorry about that. What was I doing? I removed the tension, flipped the tension counters. It was 2. Nothing changed in either posture or relations, so I removed those and redrew half rounded up, which is 1. Now we check. After checking for their posture, I then improved their strategic capabilities. So make two attempts to improve their strategic capabilities according to the priorities below. For each attempt, roll a d10 and subtract 1 if there are any sanctions. Are there any sanctions on Russia? Yes, there's 1. Okay. So they want subtract 1. All right, here we go. First roll is a 9. So they want a 1 to 4. That's a failure. They try again. That's a failure. Oh, very good. For each attempts to improve. All right, so they make 2 attempts. They've both failed. So I probably have to pick. I think I should pick the areas first. So they failed, but I'll go through it. Areas which they trail me by 2 or more boxes. Here, so they pick strategic reconnaissance, and the first roll is a failure. Then they will pick choose between cyber warfare or strategic missile defense. 1 to 3 cyber warfare. So they pick strategic missile defense. They choose this one next, and then they fail with the 8. So they fail on both of those attempts. For any remaining actions, they roll a d10 to determine. Multiple attempts may be made to improve a capability, but it can only be improved. Oh, okay, so they can do multiple attempts to improve a single capability. So they will actually focus on strategic recon. They do 2 attempts here. Both attempts fail. All right. Now we get to espionage. Okay, conduct espionage. If their relations with the US is 1 or 2, which it is, and posture is 2, no. So they'll make 1 espionage attempt. Apply the dice roll modifiers below. So the dice roll modifiers are over the page. Okay, so if their cyber warfare strategy is 1 or 2 higher than mine, I believe it is. So I'm going to write these down. So that's +1. Sorry, -1. I have no estranged ally relationships. If the US ally relationship with any ally is not very close. Okay, so I've got to check my ally relationships. Very close, very close, very close. Very close. India is allowed to be close, and the Gulf states are allowed to be close. Everything else has to be very close. So very close, very close, very close. That's it. Okay, so that's not a modifier. That's a hard one to work out. That's it. So it's just a net -1. To roll a d10, roll a 4, and net -1 is 3. They steal technology. Roll a d10, the bastards. I can't believe they did that. Roll a d10 to identify a random capability. 5, Oh, they're going to steal some cyber warfare. What are they stealing from me for? Increase their capability. I can't believe that. They stole my cyber warfare technology. Cannot believe it. How do I change that? I got to hit some more espionage. I need more cyber warfare. Otherwise, I'm going to keep gaining these capabilities. All right. Now attempt to improve Russia's economy. Here it is here. I roll a d10. It's a 6. No change. Oh, dice roll modifiers. Are there sanctions? There are plus 3, which is 9. -1 per Russian influence counter in the Eurozone. It's gone. Eastern Europe. -1, 8. So yeah, it's going to be no change. Now I calculate the number of Russia's actions. Okay, use these actions in the following dependent and remaining actions hierarchy. So Russia receives a number of actions equal to the current value on the SOE track. SOE. Yeah, that is the state of the economy. +1, which is 5. Okay. This is modified by the value at the bottom of the relations with China, with the US track, which is an extra 1. So 6. So it's this +1 +1. Modify that number for any cannons that are currently on top of Russia. There are none. There could be +1 or -1s. Then remove those cannons. Okay, so there's nothing there. Yep. So it suggests using a die, but yeah, I can't see a dice. So I'll just track it in the chat like this. Once I've calculated the number of actions performed, the dependent actions beginning below. Okay. So there are 5 possible actions to do if the conditions are met. Perform each action listed below once in order until all Russian actions have been used or all actions have been performed. First of all, terror. If there are at least 5 total terror groups in Central Southeast Asia, certainly not. Use a Russian action to remove one. No, they won't do that. Will they quell rising internal dissent? Roll a d10. Okay, so they're going to try and do this action. They're going to try to quell rising internal dissent. That's 1 action, they're down to 5. And they roll a d10. It's a 1. They, use a Russian action to allocate human and financial capital to address political, social, and infrastructure costs. That's it. They lose an action that could have been used elsewhere. That's good for me. Now reinforcements. If Russia is at war, spend a Russian action. They're down to 4. No, they're not at war. Russia is not at war. So they don't do that action. Possible Syrian intervention. If you're a new player, or it's you one, skip this action. Good. Okay. 4. Where's the 5th action? New conflict in Eastern Europe or Central Southeastern Asia. So looking over here. If there's a rogue state of any level, there is, that is not already at war with anyone. That's true. Select one at random. There's only one here. And roll a d10. Here we go. A 9. Okay. No action spent. Russia declines to spend limited resources to deal with the rogue state threat at this point. If you have any Russian actions left, please do as much of the remaining action hierarchy as you can. Well, I've still got 5 actions left. Perform each action listed below. This is a remaining action hierarchy. So they didn't want to do any of their dependent actions. So they're going to make a cyber attack, an online disinformation campaign to disrupt, weaken, confuse, and delay. Make 2 attacks using the chart at the right if posture 1. Okay. Roll a d10 to determine the target, then another d10 to resolve the attack. So their target is a 9, which is Eastern European democracies. Oh, the bastards. They're going for the Eastern European democracies. Here we go. And the effect is a 1. So, their cybersecurity... Oh, crikey, this is bad. This is a major success. Oh, no. What is the effects of a major success? I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. Major success. Determine the target. Major success are 2 Russian influence counters in Eastern Europe. Oh no. Huge information disinformation, and increases regional crises by 1 box. Oh no, that's not good. It's all bad news. So this is why I need my cybersecurity. I'm really going to try and focus on cybersecurity if I can, which may mean getting a new military Secretary of Defense. That's only 1 attack. Now I resolve the second target, which is a 5, which is to target EU cohesion. They roll again, and it's a 4, which is a success. Increase regional crises in both the Eurozone and Eastern Europe by 1 box. I can't believe they're doing that. They're really destabilizing Eastern Europe all of a sudden. Just through 2 actions. We're on the verge of a major crisis. All right, now we're going to, they've done 1 action there. They're down to 4 left. Oh no. Okay, now they're going to initiate multi-domain, low-intensity grey zone attacks to expand their influence in neighbouring regions. Attempt in the first region where these conditions are met. Any region with 3 or more Russian influence. Oh no. Create a Russian base. Oh no. We've got a Russian base in Eastern Europe. Immediately decrease the relations with Congress track by 1 box. Things were going so well. Where is my relations with Congress? Relations with Congress. Oh no, Congress isn't happy either. And the public approval track, even the public, it's not my fault. 2 boxes? 2 boxes. Oh no. Place a trending anti-US counter on Russia's relation. Oh no. Trending anti-US counter. Oh no. They hate me. We're adversaries again. Cold War adversaries. So I've really got to work to improve relations with Russia. Then, yep, that's 1 action. So that's 6. There's 3 actions left after that. Oh no. That was bad. If I still have actions remaining, proceed to action 3 below. Okay. They're going to compromise to facilitate removal of sanctions. They have sanctions counters here, so if their relation is currently 4 or 5, remove all sanctions. If any sanctions are currently here, they roll a dice. It's a 7. No modifiers. Compromise achieved. Remove 1 Russian influence counter in Eastern Europe or the Eurozone. Okay, so here's a tricky one. They don't have Russian, they've got a base there. Russian bases. Base and influence counters enhance Russia. If the bases, for more detail, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is not, I don't think it's not an influence counter, it's an actual base. So there's no influence counters in Eastern Europe, so they go to the Eurozone, and there's nothing there either. Place a -1 AP counter, I believe, is what we'll do as the next step. There's no Russian influence counters in either region. This is not technically a Russian influence counter. And remove all sanctions. All right, 2 actions left after that. Oh, hold on, there are dice roll modifiers. So I don't think it does anything. Multi plus 2, 9. Oh, hold on. So the roll is 7, plus 2 because there's a multilateral, so that'd be a 9. Ooh, okay, so the West stands firm. If Russian posture is currently 2, decrease to 1. If 1, decrease status on Russia-NATO conflict track. Status on Russia-NATO conflict track. Decrease the status by 1 and remove all sanctions. That's better. Oh, that's a really good result. If the track is already at 1, I remove 2 Russian influence counters. All right, that was a good one. All right, now 2 actions left. Now, secure, exploit, militarize the Arctic. Roll a d10. There are no modifiers for this. 5. Okay. Warming ice pack allows increased use of northern ports, increase Russia's naval forces training and tech capability. Russian naval forces training and tech capability. Geez, they're racing up. That leaves them with 1 action remaining, and it is reinforce allies, build military, use force. Attempt the 2 options below in this order if the conditions are met. If Russia has relative strength on the Russia-NATO conflict track that is equal to or lower than NATO, yes, build their strength. In the West. Equal to or lower than NATO. I don't know what that... So this is the relative strength. Relative strength. On the conflict tracks, page 37. A bit confused by this. Each conflict track contains 2 counters. One that tracks the conflict status, the second tracks the strength. Their strengths are used when they go to war. So Russia is stronger. So Russia is a stronger force here. They are not equal to or less than NATO. That's awkwardly expressed. Okay. So it's not equal to or lower than NATO. So they're not going to build their military strength. If Serbia or Syria are at war, they are not. Okay, so they don't do any of these. Okay, so now they're going to try and veto UN sanctions. Is there a UN sanctions counter on Iran? No. North Korea? Yes, okay. Russia vetoes the renewal. Remove the sanctions counter from North Korea. Just going to check there's none on Iran, right? Yep, so remove the sanctions counter from North Korea. And that's it. All right, wow, that was quite a robust series of actions. Russia is stronger than NATO, yeah. So it says if they're weaker than NATO to do the action. Equal to or lower than, I think was the word used. It's a bit weird. If Russia is equal to or lower, Russian strength equal to or lower than NATO. So I think their strength is not lower than NATO, because lower than NATO would mean that NATO has the kind of strength, right? It'd be up here somewhere. But Russia is actually stronger, so they're higher than NATO. That's how I'm kind of reading it. Okay, so that's the end of the Russia axe. That's pretty robust. Now we get to any three actions. Okay, so in reaction to the world situation, you may now take a mix of any three actions of your possible actions on the charts. Key cabinet members may not use any +1 action for any actions. I can forego an action to get an AP. I can spend 2 APs to take an additional action. Okay, so here we go. Back to the actions. What do I want to do? I want to get rid of that base. I'm now looking at military actions. How do I get rid of that base? This will give me a DARPA counter, so maybe improve my strategic position during any activation which, if there are less than 2. Okay, this is what I'm going to do here. Request rapid capabilities. A DARPA counter. I'm looking for a DARPA counter. Here it is. Rapid capabilities on my cyber warfare. All right, that'll help me improve my cyber warfare capabilities later. All right. Place a counter on one track. You may not place it on a track that already has one. That's 1 action out of 3. So 3 down. There are 2 left. God, this crisis. I've got to reduce crises in Eastern Europe. I've got to reduce this Russian base. They're creating this instability. So maybe I address a crisis relief. This could be tough. I need a 6 or less. 7 or less. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to do this. Cost me 1 action in Eastern Europe here. I roll a 6. That'll reduce it by 1 box. Okay, give me a bit of breathing space here. I have 1 action left. I would love to get rid of that Russian base. I'm just worried about it. But how do I get rid of a Russian base? I have no idea. I'm looking through these military actions and none of them say anything about Russian bases. Russian bases, page 30. Russian bases, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Even the rulebook doesn't say how to remove them. Maybe it just means I have to just be careful constantly. I think that's what I have to do. Look, I can try to keep the tension low, I guess. Try to improve relations with Russia so they're don't get all these modifiers. So maybe I'll try that. Diplomatic. If I counter Russian influence in Eastern Europe, it won't have. Well, it says remove an influence, and technically that's not an influence. I thought about that, but it's a base, not an influence. So that's how I ruled it. I said remove 1 influence, and the base was there. That's not an influence though, so yeah, it's the bases, the influence sits there, and then an action converted that into a base. I think it gives them a sort of a longer term presence there. So I'm just reading the rules as written. It doesn't say remove a base. I think the base gives them sort of some kind of sense of permanence in the region. That's how I'm kind of treating it. Okay, so look, I can't remove their base. I've settled the region a little bit. Last action, I want to try and improve my relations with Russia. So I'm looking at diplomacy now. How can I improve? Attempt to remove influence. Will this remove a base? No, that's just influence counters. No, it says replace the influence with an actual base. And there are slightly separate implications for a base. You can't remove a base. A base counts as 3 influence, but it is a permanent presence. Yeah, so it's happened now. All right, I'm trying to improve relations with Russia. All right, so let's have a summit. Let's have a summit, guys. Improve relations with Russia. Let's do this. I follow the procedure for a Russian summit. WP. There's a WPR2 section that I follow. Russian summit. Okay. If I choose the Russian summit action as a diplomatic, oh, I can use it as a presidential action as well. Can I? I don't know where I do that, but okay. Okay, so refer to Russia's current relationship. What does about a summit? What about a summit? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A summit to improve my relations. So I look at. So I've got this World Peer Russia book out. I refer to Russia's current relationship with the US to determine how many problem areas I'm going to discuss. I can only discuss one of each type of problem. If my relationship is one, which it is, I can only discuss one problem. Let's just talk about their base in Eastern Europe. Russia, let's sit down and have a talk. I choose a problem area. Oh, wow. Okay, there's a whole table. There's a whole table of problems. Hey, So Much Game, welcome. I'm about to have a summit with Russia, and we're going to talk about improving our relations. All it's going to do is add a trending pro-US counter. Oh, and that's good. That's if I'm successful. Conversely, if I give a speech at the UN, I can place a trending on any world region. That's a better chance of success. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give a speech to the UN and talk about how much I love Russia. Russia's really great, everyone. Russia's really nice. Russia's really friendly. Yes, they've built a base and created instability in Eastern Europe, but hey, they're trending towards friendship. That's what's happened. That's a lot easier. That's a lot easier than a summit. When relations are a bit better, we can look at a summit, because we'll be able to do this multiple times. But when relations are so bad, I have to go to the UN. And this is what I did. I succeeded. I placed a trending pro-US counter on the regional alignment track. No. Regional alignment. No, that's different. Oh, that's different. That's not... UN speech, yeah, Richie's just pointed out what I've just realised, that a UN speech won't influence that. Oh, well, maybe I do have to have a summit. Choose a problem and roll on that line on the summit table. Geez, that's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. Especially without... Look, I might just give the speech to UN, which I've done. I won't worry about Russia for now. I will take the UN goodwill counter. Here we go. I've got some UN goodwill. I don't know what will happen there. Oh, but you know what? I'm going to spend 1, 2 to take another action here. So I've got the UN thing, and now I'm going to have a summit with Russia. Let's give this a go. So I'm going to try and improve relations. This is the only problem we're talking about, just improving relations because our relationships are so bad. So we don't trend up. Let's roll the dice. A 6 is going to be, -1 is a 5, is going to be what Russia demands? Nothing. They see it in their best interest to improve relations. Place a trending US counter on the Russian relationship with the US track. There we go. So I've got goodwill with the UN, and my relation with Russia has deteriorated. They've built a base, but it's trending up. Oh boy. Russia has acted. These are my 3 actions done. Now we go down to draw 1 chit. Okay, randomly draw 1 crisis chit and perform its indicated action, then place it on the space on the turn sequence. Here we go. Look at this. Click, done. How good is that? That's remarkably quick compared to having this out on my table and having to reach over and find the chits and draw one out. Right, draw crisis cards 3C. 1 at a time, draw 3 crisis cards from the crisis deck. Perform all actions. Okay, this sounds like fun. So, crisis deck. Draw 1 at a time. Oop. There we go. Let's look at this. Oh, come on, what's going on? I get an extra because I had 100% success. I get an extra? Ah. Hold on a sec. Let's put this card here for a moment. Why do I get an extra? Success. I've dealt with 1 problem area together. This part of the summit is success. Update the game board to represent the result is successful. Improvement listed. Where are the Russian issues? Update the game board. Update the game board. Conflict with Russia. Update the game board to represent the result is successful. Improvement listed. Well, here's Russia. It's got to be over here, right? Somewhere. Relations with Russia, with the US. Where's that other Russia box? Here it is. Not sure how I track the issues. Ah, is it? No, not there. Keep reading the summit section. I'm willing to agree to what Russia wants. So we've dealt with the problem area together. That part of the summit is successful. When you finish discussing all problem areas, the summit is complete. Roll on the summit results table to determine whether there are any game state adjustments based on the percentage of summit problems you've dealt with. Roll over the page. Update the game board. Okay, so I know I have to roll on the summit results table. I'm still confused by the result is successful improvement. Oh, so update the game board. Do what it says. Got it. Confused by that. All right, so summit results table, 100%, 1 from 1. I roll the die. I got a 9, which is a public approval. Oh, that's the worst result. Oh, -1 is 8. Is public approval and remove 1 tension counter from Russia. So 1 public approval. Okay. Oh boy, that's a doozy. That was fun though, having a summit with Russia. I really appreciate your help, Richie. This is really good. I'm really enjoying this game. I was a bit worried. I was like, there's so much going on, but it's really fun. Okay. Crisis chip. And we've got an event. Here it is. And it is here. Okay. Trying to hover over it and look at it. Where can I put it? Okay. Place an economy improving counter on the Eurozone State of the Economy track. Trending up. Increase NATO's relative strength versus Russia by 1 box. So this is where we get NATO's relative strength. They're now equal. That just goes straight up. I'd like to flip that, please. Keep it. Control F. Keep it. It just doesn't want to. Here we go. Stay somewhere I can. Place 2 tension counters on Russia. So what's the situation here? German prosperity fuels increased military spending. Place 2 tension counters on Russia and 1 on NATO. Oh my god. Okay, so I've just reduced these. And 1 tension counter on NATO. And 1 tension counter on NATO, the UK and Canada. Okay. That's not good. Increase Russia NATO conflict track by 1 box. Place 1 AP on NATO. Was it NATO? Place 1 AP. I don't know why this card keeps flipping. Increase Russia-NATO conflict marker by 1 box. After all my work to stabilize the situation, these guys, and then it goes into the discard D, the crisis. All right. Just trying to check where that card goes. Cards, crisis cards, page 9. Okay. It has a D. If the card is to be discarded and removed from the game, it will have the following icons. That's to be discarded and removed from the game. Okay. That's meant to be removed from the game. Do I put it up there? Go away. Discard, remove from the game. My goodness. All right, so I've got to do 3 of these. Draw model cards. 1. It's going to be, what does this symbol mean? This is the cascading event. All right. It doesn't like me. I don't know where I'm meant to be putting these. I feel like I should be putting them somewhere. Okay, if there is currently, oh wow, cascading event. Rogue state ranks swell with new recruits. If there is currently a, oh, it keeps disappearing. If I put it up here. Yeah, that'll say face up now. If there's currently a level 1, 2, 3 rogue state, I believe we do have a rogue state in Central Southeast Asia. Yes. Increase it by 1 level. Oh no. Okay, so let's get a rogue state level 2. Let's try and find out how to increase. There we go. Rogue state level 2. Flip it. Okay, all right. Now it's put into deck 2. Okay, so this is a cascading event. We draw it, now we put it into deck 2. All right, and I'm hoping that automatically shuffles it in. And then we'll draw it again. And yeah, continue. Hey, Tony! Played it as it became the game we see today. It's also fun doing the live stream with Gene. Yeah, look, I've only kind of recently I've seen it, and just looking at this, it didn't look that appealing. And then I just decided to dive in. So that's what I've done. So I'm drawing last card now. I don't need to do that, I just click the button, but anyway. Immediate. If there is already a rogue state in Central South Asia, which there is, place an unstable state there. Okay, so now we've got I want to clone that. We've got 2 unstable states. If there is already a rogue state, place an unstable, upgrade a level 3, 2 or 1 terror group by 1 level. So they want to prioritize 3 first. There's only 2, so we increase them to a level 3 terror group. That's a bit scary. Now, is that, I think, that's a full stop. So if none place a level 2 terror, then -1 regional stability and +1 regional crisis. So -1 regional stability, +1 regional crisis. So, geez, Central South Asia has just gone bad. And that is an R event, which means reshuffle. So I send to the reshuffle pile. When I finish with the card, place it in the reshuffle pile. At the beginning of a new year, it'll be reshuffled together. So Southeast Asia now takes on a new focus. I put it into, oh, okay. So I put it into 2 deck. So I should grab that and put it there. Oh, I see. I put it into 2. Right. So I discard it to here, to the 2 deck. And then the 3 deck. And then it gets discarded. Got it. All right. So they are my 3 crisis cards because of the chit I drew. It had no plus sign on it, and there's no plus sign on the thing. So there are some, so these things, okay. So I continue. Do I do this 3 times? If the crisis, yeah, so I go down to here now. I draw a crisis chit. It's a 1 card, and I hope to not draw a card with a plus. I think these are all bad, right? They all seem bad. So, crisis card. Draw an event card from crisis deck, just 1. Make a Homeland Security check. Okay, so Homeland Security is 6, -1. Ugh, narrowly fail. Okay. Attacks cause, oh my goodness. Middle East bombers attack DC-bound Amtrak train. Attacks cause mash, +1 domestic crisis. Oh no. Domestic crisis. This is going bad. Where is it? +1, -1 Homeland Security. -3 public approval. 1, 2. I'm back where I started. All this work I've been doing. Place 2 tension counters on POTUS cab. 2 tension counters on POTUS / cab. Cabinet. 2 tension counters. Okay. When do I do them? Place a tension mark in the tension box to the right of each focus area, starting with 6. Okay. 6, 5, 4. Wait, did I draw too many? 2. Yep, under that last one. Focus. Place a new level 2 terror group in the US. Oh no. All right, and yeah, as Richie's pointing out, stop, your first chit doesn't have a plus sign. Yeah, cool. Oh wait, are you saying? Are you saying this doesn't have a plus sign? So these are only okay. I understand. So I don't do any of that. I thought I misread that. I mean, I understood the system, but I thought this is drawn and then you draw one here, and if this has a plus sign. But you're saying no. Got it. So I undo all that, which is a relief because there was no, it was just a bad news story. Don't worry, folks. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was just a bad dream. Oh boy, that was good. That was a relief. Right, so now in that case, so we return that to the cup and we skip these. We go straight up to the Ally Rogue Group Axe, which sounds bad. Randomly draw one of the 4 chits. Ally Rogues Group D. Refer to the Ally Rogue Group Nation chart. Okay, let's find a booklet. Is this going to be a domestic chart? No, this is going to be Ally and Rogue States chart. Group D. Okay, Group D. What is Group D? Oh, Ally and Group D, page 11. It's on the table of contents. Group D, which is Canada, the Gulf States, South Africa, and Rogue. Okay, these allies act only in their region, except for Canada, who can affect the Eurozone or Central South America. Number 1, activate Canada. If I activate Canada, note, ally relationship, very close, 2 joint actions. So I get 2 joint actions. Perform a number of joint actions, and then adjusted by any markers on Canada, there are none. The possible joint actions I can choose are listed below under possible joint actions. Okay, so let's pause there. Let's check out these joint actions. Intel, auto success 1, locate any terror group in the region. Wow, there was one that disappeared. So there's no, I don't need to do intel. Raid, make 1 raid against 1 terror group in the regions. No. Attempt to stabilize the region. It's stable. Oh no, wait, stabilize, increase stability. Wouldn't need to do that here. Reinforce, there's no war. De-escalate, they don't have a conflict track. Request humanitarian aid in any region. Make a roll for any one region and decrease regional crises. Let's do that because Southeast Asia is looking pretty bad. So we're going to do 2 humanitarian aid in Central Southeast Asia. We roll a dice. Hey, look at that. Decrease regional crises by 1 box. Should we do it again? I think I can do it again. Can I repeat? Can I repeat joint actions with my ally? HI, no, what would this be? These are allies 35. Four times a year you'll have an ally axe. You'll randomly flip, blah, blah, blah. You'll have joint actions. These are which you can perform. Doesn't say I can't repeat it, just says you do 2 actions. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to roll. 10 has no effect. Okay, can't escape that, even with my -1. So that's Canada. Now, When finished, flip over all tension markers to reveal their values. It's a +1. Make a D10 unilateral action die roll referring to the Canada unilateral action table, which is over the page, applying applicable die roll modifiers, including the sum of tension counters. So I've got +1, no Russian influence in the Eurozone, no terror groups in CONUS, and +1 because Russia NATO conflict status value is greater than 1. So looking at a +2 modifier, which is 4, -1 is 3, which is aid, decrease regional crises, 1 box, regional crisis in the Eurozone, or Central America, or domestic crisis by 1 in CONUS. I might do this, because that's, as I said, this is my second priority. It'd be nice to get this down to 0. If it's already 0, I gain presidential action points. So I might get some action points here. Is that the best thing to do? Keep it really low? Hard to say. Okay, so that's it. We have then remove all tension and replace with half rounded down. So we return that, replace it with nothing. Then apply the results, then remove all of their flipped counters and replace. Okay, so that's Canada done. These allies. So I activate Canada, then I activate the Gulf states. Except for the Gulf states, SA. Saudi Arabia, not South Africa. SA, I was trying to figure out what SA stood for. I was thinking, why is the Gulf states linked with South Africa? Okay, that was silly. Now, we perform joint actions. We have a close relationship, so we'll get 1 joint action. And look, we really need to figure out these. They've got some terror groups here. So we're going to get some intel. Locate a terror group in the region. Let's pick this one. Choose them and place them. They're already here, so we move them to the next box. It's automatic success, so we move them to locating them. That's it. Okay, so when finished, flip over all tensions. It's a +1. I roll on the Gulf states, so +1 counter. What's their conflict track? The Gulf states, Iran. Oh, there's a conflict track over here. Gulf states, Iran, plus half of the current status value. So half of this is 1, so that's +2. +2 to a roll of. No, I'd like to re-roll that. Now, is this something I can re-roll? Because this is terrible. This is going to be 12. Just keep this in mind. This is +2 to 12, which is really bad. Is this one of those things that I can re-roll? Is this a personal... I'm just checking my -1. I'll finish this action, then I'll go back to Richie's point. All player die rolls. It's not an action, is it? Actions. Right. How to play. Yeah, it has to be part of a master action. That is pretty bad. Okay, so what's going to happen here is there is a renewed offensive in Yemen, +2 tension. Oh, no. So, draw tension on Iran and Iran. Increase the Iran Gulf states conflict by 1. If already at war with Yemen, this happens. If not at war with Yemen, set up a war. Oh, I'm sorry, we've got a war going on. Set up a war with Yemen. Oh boy. WM5. All right, so now to go to the world chart. There's a lot going on here. So WM5, war progress. What to do when a war starts? Okay, for the war progress activation segments. Hold on, am I doing the right thing here? If we're at war, if not at war, set up the war. Yep, so we set up the war, WM5. So for war progress activation segments. Okay, what to do? Place a conflict type counter in the type of conflict. This will be combined air ground. Okay, so war. War, yep, I see war markers. I can't see combined. Oh, here it is, conflict type, combined air ground. Here it is. Place a conflict status counter on the stalemate box, okay. Place a country at war counter, showing the name of each side. Okay, so we've got Yemen at war and Iran at war. No. Is it Yemen? Gulf states? Yeah, I think that's it. Enemies, so maybe that should go... Enemies, yeah, Iran. Defender is Iran. I don't know who the attacker is or who the defender is. Gulf states, strength 5. And it's not Yemen. It's not Iraq, sorry. It's not Iran, sorry. It's Yemen. Okay. I can add one. Okay, so just the expression on some of these events. So basically it says, if ally relationship is very close, ask US for help. Full stop. US may choose to add one carrier group, but I think that's relating to the previous point. If you don't decrease ally, yeah, so they can't ask for help because they were not very close. So this war is going on. And that's it. So it's not war with Iran, it's a separate war with the Gulf states and Yemen, which I'm now going to have to try to sort out. Okay, now place a number of attackers and defenders. There's no conflict track that, as far as I'm aware. Gulf states, Yemen, no. Their strengths are determined. We're not very close, so they can't ask me for help, so there's no US strength here. This is really confusing. This is probably the most confusing part of the game. Here's the war. Yeah, so they're not adding. I don't know. I don't know. It just says fix the strength 5-3. So I think we're done. The strength is done. That's the odds. The odds are 5-3. All wars, make a war. I don't think I make a war progress roll, right? That's all I think I stopped there. I don't. It just says set up the war. Okay, but when I set up the war, what do you do when a war starts? So war's already in progress. Use the strength values. Maybe we do. Maybe we do go straight through. It doesn't say to stop. Okay, so determine the odds is 5-3. Dice roll modifiers. Determine any applicable die roll modifiers. I wouldn't have a clue what the die roll modifiers are. So now I'm checking out wars. Wars, page 44. Setting up a war. Wars are set up on the board, blah, blah, blah. Each war is fought in its own track. First, set up a war, place a conflict type. A war will always start as that. Second, place a conflict status. Place a country at war marker showing the name of each side. Place a number representing the strength of the attacker. Strength tables are all worked out. Okay. Once I've set up the war, make an initial war progress die roll. Following the progress for waging war. Okay. So, total of the strength from all technically US or allied units. Add the strength of any regional troops. So it's rounding down, so it's 1-to-1. Check the combat table in WCT 1, which is on the back of the world charts. I'm sorry, you can't see any of this. These are all physical charts. WCT1. Here we go. I've got a combat table here. Check the combat table. Determine if any dice roll modifiers. Dice roll modifiers. Okay, surprise, no. No. That's it. There are no modifiers that apply. Okay, no modifiers. Roll a d10 and find the result. So here we go. We're rolling for this war. It's a 6. The die roll is 5-7 in a combined arms war with a ratio of 1-to-1. 1 right, both 1 loss. 1 right, both 1 loss. So the defender force is winning. Oops, wrong war. So the status of the conflict goes 1 to the right, and both sides decrease. Okay. Okay, now they've done it once. Change to guerrilla war. Okay, so we changed the conflict status to a guerrilla war. And that'll change the column. Okay, look, done it once now, so I know how to do it again. Apply the results. The war continues. You'll perform this action again during the next war progress. The US is not involved. Okay, that's very interesting. After you apply results, +1 to regional crises in the war's region. This is not good. So we're looking at the Middle East now. Middle East, where is it? Here we go. +1 to regional crisis. Ignore all asterisks when making an initial war progress roll. Oh, single asterisk? Yep, okay. There's a lot of caveats throughout this section. Sorry about this. All right, we're done. That was not good. So that was a long thing to do just because I rolled poorly on the Gulf States table and there was tension there. So that's now removed, returned to the cup, but they're very tense here. Okay, so we've done the Gulf States. What was that? What was that? That was our unilateral action. Unilateral, where they just decided to charge into Yemen without me. Okay, now, then I go to the rogue activation table to determine what happens to one rogue state. Here we go. A 1, the highest level game created rogue state. Choose randomly if more than one at the same level. So we've got rogue states. Rogue state level 2. Yes, it'll be this one. So this rogue state level 2 acts. And I look at WA3 now. So WA hold on a sec. WA rogue state actions WA3. Here we go. Rogue state actions table. Okay, so perform the action for each rogue state counter. Just this one. If they're at war, I don't think they are. If rogue state is not at war, do B. Place a trending anti-US counter on the region's alignment track. That goes away, that comes down. Then roll a D10. This is Terror Act. It's a 7. They increase by 1 level. Geez, they're ramping up. Okay. Then I check unstable states to finish this segment. Roll a D10 again for each unstable state counter in Central Southeast Asia and the Asia Pacific. There's only these two here, so I roll a D10 for the first one. A 1. If regional stability is less than 5, I add 1, which is a 2. So we remove that unstable state. We roll again. A 3 plus 1 because stability is low, which is a 4. -1 is a 3, so I think we remove that as well. And a player roll? It's not an ally roll, is it? Ally rolls, not a peer roll. Okay, so I need to go back to what was the issue that led me to reduce this. It was Canada, and something Canada did. What did Canada do? We performed a joint action, humanitarian aid, regional crises. Then I rolled on the Canada table. I decreased domestic lingering issues. Domestic crisis by 1. Yeah, that's domestic. Oh, domestic. Oh, these are domestic crisis. Okay, I see what you mean. Thanks, Richie. I decreased lingering domestic issues, and it said domestic crisis. Right, so I've got one in Eurozone, Central South America. I might decrease one in Central America because it's on 2. We'll do that. Thank you, Richie. Sorry, that took me a long time. I wanted to try and finish that action before I lost track of everything again. All right, so where was I? What was that? That was moving counter forward. That was getting my rogue allies done. Now I have POTUS cab focus. Okay, so refer to the section on the game board up here. Cabinet focus. Here we go. Here it is. Beginning with priority 6 and 5, roll a d6 for each focus priority. Don't roll for any that have counters next to them, tension counters next to them. Okay, that terrorism thing didn't happen, so they were removed. So we roll for everything. And we need to succeed, basically. So let's try 6 first. We roll a dice. It's a fail. Now let's try our 5. We need a 1 or a 2. It's a fail. Oh wait, it's a -1. So that's a success. The 6 is a success. Place improving economic marker. It's already really good, but it's improving. All right, so it's -1 because to all my rolls. So this is now 5. No success. We need a 1 to 3 here, basically 1 to 4. Fail. Third, we need a 1 to 3 here, 1 to 4. Fail. Second, we need a 1 to 4 here, basically 1 to 5. Success. -1 to domestic crises. -1 to domestic crises. If already 0, which it is, +2 approval rating, 1, 2. And lastly, number 1, is that a guaranteed success? 1 to 5, -1. +3 to public appeal, or +1 and +1 to media relations. I might just go 3, 1, 2, 3. Ramp that up, try and get it above 60. Make up for my losses. Okay, so that is done. And now we go to here. Oh, this is where media relations deteriorate. Okay. Decrease media relations by 1 box. Where is it? It's over here. Should have pushed it up. And I get 2 domestic actions from the master domestic actions. 2 of these. I just lost some media, so can I do something like... No. Economy is great. Domestic crises are great. There are none. Lingering domestic issue, public appeal would be good. Cabinet effectiveness check. My cabinet is quite effective. Here we go. So I need a 6. -1 is 7 or less here. And that would decrease the lingering and give me some public appeal. Let's try this. So I get 2 of these actions. I'm going to do this one. If the domestic crisis level is 0, I think it is, right? Domestic crisis level in the US is 0, so I can attempt this. 1 action, make a cabinet effectiveness check. I need a 7 or 0. 6, pass. Decrease the lingering domestic issues by 1 and +3 public approval. 1, 2, 3. I've now got above 60, which is great. Yeah, just checking those modifiers, which I didn't consider. Okay, what else do I want to consider here for domestic issues? No domestic crisis now. Lingering issues are great. The economy is great. Relations with Congress are pretty good, right? What is my relationship with Congress? I could be stronger. I don't have any. I could spend one. Where is it? It's on the 5 track, so I'd add one. What else? Party fundraising to increase my party relations. Get some more friends, might be good. No role needed, just add some friends. I don't think I have any tension with me at the moment, so that's all good. Encourage bipartisanship. I don't want to worry about this. So I think I'm just going to get some party fundraising going on. It takes an action. Party relations are already pretty high. We're going to push them a bit higher, which gives me another friend. How good is that? And they're my 2 actions for here. Okay. I can spend 2 APs to take 1 additional action. Two APs to spend 1 additional action. No, I think I'll hold on to it. All right. Now, third party scandal tensions. Anytime you place a scandal counter or move a scandal counter 1 row to the right, place a tensions counter on the POTUS cabinet focus. This is interesting. No, sorry. Tension. Okay, sorry, I'm reading the wrong section. Perform legislative segment. That's what I'm doing here. So, determine support opposition to pending bills. If there are no pending bills, there are no pending bills, right? Where are the pending bills? No pending bills. Attempt to pass pending bills, skip this step. Sign or veto bills. If no bills are passed, skip this step. Add friends. If you pass or sign a landmark bill, add a new friend. Roll 1d6. So there were no bills sort of in progress. Should have done some of this maybe, but I didn't. I'm trying to get my foundation set before I start announcing bills. So I go straight to step 4 pretty much, and I roll 1d6 and refer to the drama table. Oh. Okay, so D6 is the Congressional Maneuvering and Drama table. I roll a D6, it's a 4. Apply relevant dice roll modifiers. So let's check what these are out. Where's the bipartisanship marker? Up here. It needs to be here to get a -1 modifier. Relationship with Congress is 5, no modifier there. My public approval is now more than 60, so I get -1 to that, which is a 3. Friends outnumber opponents, so it comes down to a 2. -1 for my easy player level, makes it a 1. And the 1 result means that opponents waver. If my relationship with Congress is 5 to 6, move any one bill in the pending bill section by 1 box. There are none. That's a bit sad. I had no bills. I need some bills. So that's done. Introduce new bills. Removal bills currently, blah, blah, blah. I can now voluntarily remove any of my bills. There are none. Yep. The number in the current box on the bipartisan, where is it? Bipartisan Corporation is the number of new bills that are now introduced. If you control both houses, I choose which ones to introduce. All right, so bills. Where are the bills? Event cards, no. Pending bills. Pieces. Markers. Bills. Maybe I need to read the rulebook for this one. Legislation 22. Okay. So, they are little markers, but where are they? They're not scandals, not wars. They've got to be chits, right? But where are they? Oh, here they are. Unused bills. Okay. So. It's, there's just a lot. It's actually really procedural, so much games. It's really procedural. It's just finding things for the first time. So now I know where the bills are. Whenever I go looking for it again, I should be able to find it. It's the first time I've ever had to find the bills, and here they are. There's a lot of like, do this, then do this. So now I get to place the bills that I want. Now, my priorities are Social Security and healthcare reform. So Social Security, and I want healthcare reform. These are the two bills I want to introduce. So I choose the two bills. Place the bills in the zero box of the pending bills track. There is moderate support for these bills. They're both side by side in that box. I need to get it to strong support, I guess. If introduced by a party controlling both houses, which I do, place them in the -1. Now, compare the media rating of all friends and opponents. All right. Okay. 7 minus 5 is +2. Then move public approval that number of boxes. All right, so I move public approval 2 more boxes to the right. And I adjust media relation. Hold on. Then move public approval that more boxes, a maximum of 3 boxes. If the result is a maximum of 3 boxes, also adjust media relations. So no, it's not. Now, scandal investigations. I have no scandals, so I skip this step. I adjust bipartisan cooperation. Where was bipartisan cooperation? Bipartisan cooperation. Here it is. Examine all friends' opponents. If there are more moderates, move cooperation right by 1 box. Hey, we're really getting along together. Okay. Then perform 1 immediate free action of any type from each of your bills that were passed and signed. There, that's none. I also get an immediate free action if I confirm to Supreme Court justice or pass a greater bill, blah, 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 blah. No. All right. Oh, wow. We are almost at the end of our first phase. So, draw 1 crisis chip. This is scary. 2 crisis cards. It's not a plus area, so we don't have to worry about the plus. But we are drawing 2 crisis cards. Here we go. First one. Draw an event card from the crisis deck. Okay, what do we got here? We are the world. If both Russia and China posture 1, yes, and you're willing to spend 2 APs, Russia, China, and the US join to lead a massive world educate. I'm very happy to do this. So let's spend our 2 APs. 1, 2. Look at this. This is a nice one. Put a trending pro-US counter in Africa and a UN goodwill counter. All right, so trending US in Africa. Trending US. Thank you. We are the world. Okay, plays a Russian influence in China. Ooh, that's not good though. Russia influence, China influence in Africa. Oh no, we're going to clone that. Clone that and just move it over. Well, that's not good. One step forward, two steps back. -2 regional crisis in Africa. Remove tension. Okay, that's good. -2 regional crisis in Africa. Hey, look at this. And remove 2 tension counters each from Russia, China, Canada, and NATO. Return to the draw cup. Return to the draw cup. Return to the draw cup. That is very nice. Place a trending pro-US counter on Russia and China. Oh, look at that. So the Russians are now, they've got a slight distrust. And China is, we're going to be best friends soon. That's really cool. Look, I've improved relations. Look at that. All because of our, cooperation. If either Russia or China posture is greater than 1, ignore the above event, get a regional crisis. Okay, no, that's fine. That is now removed from the game. Very, very cool event. Very happy with that. What else? What other good stuff's going to happen to me? Regional instability. Yeah, of course. Roll a d10 to select a random region. Okay, here we go. Region number 4, which is going to be, of course it's the Middle East. Okay, what's going to happen in the Middle East? What's going to happen in the Middle East? Make a stability check for that region. Ooh, okay. Stability in the Middle East is 4. So I need 4 or less. That's not going to do it. I fail. Flip 1 unstable state in the region to its civil war side. Oh, not civil war. There we go. Civil war side. +2 regional crises. Oh no. 1, 2. Increase the level 3, 2 or 1 terror group by 1 level. Okay. So, we have a regional crisis, WD1. If a major regional crisis breaks out, I get -2. Now, does this happen immediately? I need to check this. So, major regional crisis, 29. Yep. I roll for a major regional crisis now in the Middle East. Okay, so I get -2 public approval. And then roll a d10. A 6. Okay, dice roll modifiers. Regional stability is a 4. So it's a +1, making it a 7. I have a very close US ally, so -1, back to 6. 2 civil wars, up to 8. There's also a war in the region. I should track that, shouldn't I? War, mark up 1 in the region. That's 10. 10. Okay, this is not good. A 10 means we decrease the regional stability by 1 box. If there's a US ally in the region, decrease an ally relationship. There's 2 allies, so 1 to 3 is Israel. So that's going to be, we're having a strange relationship. Place a trending anti-US. Oh no. I've done so much work in the Middle East and they hate me. Possible refugee crisis. If the region is the Middle East, it creates a flood of refugees. Make a stability check for the Eurozone. Okay. They are okay. +1 to Eurozone regional crises. Wow. So I passed. It's still bad. Okay. So, Middle East. Very unstable. Max 3, max 5. I don't know what that means. Oh, maximum civil wars and maximum wars. Okay. So that's a problem. Going to have to work on that. I'm trying. Gulf states suddenly don't like me. It's not my fault. Okay, so that was, what was that? That was my event. Bad stuff happened, bad stuff happened. We now send that to the reshuffle. And that's my two things. So now, focused national intelligence. What's happening here? Okay, the focused national intelligence collection counters represent the setting of priorities, which across all 18 agencies and organisations of the intelligence community, blah, blah, blah. The games use a maximum of 2 counters. If you have an exceptional White House, I don't. Roll on the focused national intelligence table for each region that has a focus. This happens to be the Middle East. Here we are. So we roll for this table. There are various modifiers. So let's roll and see what we get. So it's a 7. If the strategic is my strategic intelligence gathering higher? Yes, it is. So I get a -1. My cyber warfare is not higher. Russia has an influence counter, so that's +1, so they cancel each other out for a roll of 7. 7 means move a 3, 2, or 1 terror group in the region to the locating box. And that's it. So I've rolled. Right, found some more intelligence. It could have been much better than that, but I think. But yeah, that's done. Now, here we go. Now we get any 4 diplomatic and/or military actions. I can also choose actions from the master presidential action chart if they're diplomatic in nature. The master presidential. I can do this one. UN speech to create goodwill. If they're diplomatic in nature, presidential trip, improve relations. So I can try to improve relations with the Gulf states, for example. All right. So 4 actions, that's a lot. Diplomatic, military, there's a lot going on in the Middle East. That should come down now to 2. So after resolving that, the marker comes down to 2. Let's keep it down. Let's try and get rid of this Russian influence. Let's try and get the crisis down. So how do I get a Russian influence? Look, trending, can I increase I'd like to increase the stability of the region. This would be good if I can get a 3 to 4 there. Reducing regional crises. I've got to reduce their presence first. It's, what is it? It's diplomatic as well. So remove influence in a region. Choose a region with a regional alignment of 7 or 8. That's not going to happen here, is it? I need to improve their alignment. Really, don't I? But it's going to be boosted by that Russian influence. Look, maybe I can have another summit with the Russians. Let me have a think about, these Russian. We're getting along a bit better. Maybe we can talk about. No, there's no remove. I can't see anything that removes the Russian influence from a region. They don't want to voluntarily remove their influence. I could gather intel. I've got advisors, so maybe I'll try this. Okay, so I'm going to try one of my actions. So I've got 4 actions. First action is going to be to direct intel gathering against these terror groups. So it's like 2 terror groups, 1 and 2. For each terror group, roll a d10. So let's try this 3 first. A 7, -1 for my advisors, -1 for my focused, -1 for my being a beginner is a 4. Success, place them in, move them 1 box to the right on the track. So they are in the targeting fixed. And I'll roll for the other ones as well. A 4, they are also advanced to there. Now, does something happen when they hit that terrorism? Intel. It's really the Intel track, isn't it? Page 40. Okay. It doesn't quite explain what happens. So they've reached the end of the track. Where it could now be the target of a airstrike or special forces raid. Okay, so now I could do, here we go. Perform a raid or strike on a terror group. During any activations in which one choose, perform a special raid on a terror group in a region. They must be in the target fixed box. And I consult WM2. Okay, well, let's try this. Let's try this terror group number 3. All right, I'm going to try and perform a raid or a strike. And I look at WM in these charts. Do I want a raid or a strike? Looking at the modifiers here. I don't really know what the difference is. Soft raid or airstrike drone. Target fixed, so I want soft raid. Okay, so I'm looking at, here we go. A die roll of 4. I've got special ops, so -1, -1. +1 because it's level 3. So it's a net -1, which is 3. Success. Decrease the terror group by 1 level. Move them to the gathering box. Decrease and back to the gathering intel. Oh, -1 is another one, sorry. Is 2, which is a major success. Decrease them by 2 levels. +1 public approval. Move them to the gathering box. Use captured intel to make an immediate intel attempt against one other terror group. Immediate intel attempt. Immediate intelligence attempt. do I make an intel attempt? Okay, so I try to gather intel against, let's say, these guys. I roll a d10. It's a 5, -1, -2. It's successful. We are now gathering intel on them. So we're gathering intel on all 3 terror groups. Okay, that worked out pretty well. I reduced the level 3 to level 1 and gained intel on that other group. So all 3 groups in the area. I don't know what the implications of this are yet. So I don't know why I'm gathering intel. Started 3A, Martin. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost track of time. I haven't stopped. I am most of the way through the first turn, first phase. So one quarter of the way through the first turn. Where am I? I'm right at the end here, so I'm almost a quarter of the way. Okay. That's what's that? Is that my first action? That's my first action. It was a good one. We just broke up some terrorism groups. So we have 3 actions left. 3 actions left. That was a good one. Okay, let's bring up our master actions. All right, we directed intel. No, we directed intel, and then we performed a raid. So that was 2 actions left. Diplomatic and or military actions. I've got to do something with Russia. I think I've got to. Anyone say I can't do it? Summit. Let's have a summit with Russia. I think I like this. All right. Now that we have relationship 2 with Russia, Where are we? Relationship 2. We can actually, raise 2 problems with them. So let's have a summit. Let's spend an action. Summit. And we'll have 1 action left after this. All right. I can raise 2 problems. First, I choose the problem area. I want to improve relations even more with Russia. You know what? Let's try and get that even better. Yeah, let's try and improve relations. Roll a d10. It's a 6. -1 is a 5. Yeah, they're happy. They're gonna pro-US. Thanks, guys. Look at that. 1 success. What are we going to do next? There are no sanctions on Russia. Remove 1 tension. There are no tensions in Russia either. I wouldn't mind stabilizing. -1 to regional crisis. There are no unstable. There's a civil war ceasefire in Eastern Europe. There's nothing I can do about that. I can jointly mediate a civil. Well, there's already a ceasefire actually. Joint regional anti-terror programs. Contain a rogue state in Eastern Europe. Here we go. There's one in Central South Asia. Only if no sanctions and relations are 3 or higher. So we can't do that. Do we want to control Iran's nuclear ambitions? Our relations are not 3 or higher, so we can't do that yet either. So we can't mediate a ceasefire. Look, we've got a civil war. Here we go. 2 civil wars in the Middle East. Let's try and mediate a ceasefire here. Our relationship is 2 or higher. So let's try and roll here. Oh, that's not good. 7. Okay. Remove any sanctions on Russia and +1 Russian AP or improving economy. I don't want to give them another AP, so I'll go improving economy. Yeah, my choice. So we'll that they demand, better economic conditions. Okay, we'll give them that. We succeed. So for 1 civil war, replace it with a civil war ceasefire counter and a UN peacekeeper. All right, where do we get these UN peacekeepers from? Tell me if you see UN peacekeeper anywhere. Nobel Prize, war markers. A UN peacekeeper. Am I blind? Scandal, war, markers, allies, no enemies, blah blah blah. Okay, oh, chits, UN sanctions, UN. I have no idea. And a UN peacekeeper. Not the war book. UN peacekeepers. How do I get a peacekeeper? Is that a peacekeeper? Let me double check this. United Nations peacekeepers 36. Okay, so they're orange. They're orange counters. As a result, UN peacekeepers may be sent. So they're bright orange counters. I don't know what they are. Not cards. They should be bright orange. Oh, here. Oh, my goodness. Right in front of me. Regional UN peacekeepers. It was staring me in the face. They will act as a dial modifier to increase the chance of a ceasefire being resolved. Nice. So we have then roll a d10. Okay, that's not good. 8 plus 1 Russian influence in the region. Oh, this is getting hard because they're gonna make it harder to do things. Okay, look, we've addressed 2 issues. We solved 2 issues, so 100%. We now make a die roll, a 9. Ah, okay, so I get 2 public approval, 1, 2. Remove 1 tensions from Russia. Place trending prowess. Okay, that's all right. Oh, look at that. We are now neutral. Look at how we've improved our relationship with the US. This is the foundation to, other things. I should be tracking their influence. I haven't been. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 influence. Are they getting a bit too... Oh, geez. Really got to be careful. Russia's getting quite strong. All right, I've got 1 action left now, and I've got to reduce Russian influence. I absolutely have to. Now my influence with Russia is 3. Okay. Decrease. I want to remove their influence. I need to improve their alignment. Oh wow! Or it's hard. I can't do it. Oh, here we go. Eastern. No, it's a base. I guess I'll attempt to improve a region's alignment, and I'll try to do it in the Middle East. Although it's a long way off. Maybe Africa. Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll try to improve the situation in Africa as a long-term goal to removing Russian influence. What are the Chinese? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're on 5. Yeah, so I've really got to start paying attention to reducing that influence, which means improving the region's stability. up to 7 or 8, or 0 if they have 0 crisis. So let's do this. Spending an action, choosing a region and making a regional alignment check. That's going to be tough though, because that's going to be +2 modifier. I don't like the chance of that happening. What else can I do? I don't know. I don't really know. More rapid capabilities. I could throw another rapid capabilities marker somewhere over here. I've got one. Direct intel gathering ops. Perform a raid. Move or deploy my forces. Okay, maybe we improve relations with the Gulf states in the Middle East. So I can do an arms sale. 1 action and 1 AP. Unless, yeah. So I'm going to spend 1 AP. I'm going to resupply an ally at war. I add 1 strength to that ally at war. I add 1 tension counter to the enemy in that war. I don't think Yemen doesn't have an area for tension. Okay. If the relationship is not very close, improve ally relationship by 1 level. So we're close again. And then I roll a d10. That's a 2. Remove 1 tension counter from that ally. Good. And increase ally relative strength on that conflict track by 1 box. They're not move. Increase ally relative strength on allies' relative strength, so I can increase Gulf states' relative strength on one track, not the track, and place a 1 AP counter on that ally. Okay. Gulf states +1 AP. I don't know what they're going to do. Oh yeah, Gulf states actions. Yeah, cool. Okay, and then I choose one of the following. One of the following. Not all of them. I don't need to add strength, so let's go back to the war and reduce that. Add 1 tension. I don't need to... Oh, it can't be an ally with a very close. Select an ally with a very close. I've done that wrong. So I can't do any of this. There we go. It is just improving relations. So they should be at 5, yep. And we've improved relations. That's all we do. Okay. Oh boy. And that's my last action. So that brings me to the end of the first activation phase. It's been 3 hours. I think I'm going to wrap this up. Okay. This is brilliant. Loving it. So look, let me try and get a big picture, as much as a big picture as possible of this massive board. But what have we got going on? We got a relationship with Russia. Over the course of 1 year, our relationship with Russia deteriorated to Cold War allies, and then we managed to get it back to neutral. We have a good and improving relationship with China, so things are looking good with China. They're not much of an issue. We do have problems, though, with Russian influence spreading around the world. We've got a Russian base in Eastern Europe and a lot of Russian influence in the Middle East, which is hampering our attempts to stabilise the region. We've got a Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, war with Yemen. But we do have focused intelligence here, and our counter-terrorism operations have been going very well. 3 terrorist groups, but they've all been, all been maintained. Some tensions with Israel, a lot of tension with Iran. Central America is looking good. South America is looking good. Africa is looking okay. Might need to start looking down here. Asia Pacific is looking pretty good. And Europe and the domestic situation is looking very good, very good. We have now 2 bills. Where are our bills? Which we have support for. They're looking good. What else? We've got some good congressional friends, and it's growing. We have great bipartisan cooperation. So looking forward to this, being raised again. What else? Look, we'd like to make some changes to cabinet here. Made some mistakes there early on. And we'd like to improve our cyber warfare. Other than that, and my public approval is really good, up to 68 now. So it can only go up 1 higher. I don't know what this little 1 means up in the top left. I'll need to check on that. But that's LP. Need to check on that as well. What the implications of all this are. In terms of my tracks, would like to improve some of these. Economy is super strong. Would like to improve all of these. Media relations, relations with Congress, Homeland Security needs to go up. Everything needs to go up in these kind of areas. But I have earned some good will from the UN. I haven't looked through these. Greater society legislation. Yeah, okay. What else? Got my amazing Secretary of State. Yeah, things are generally looking. I think I've got a pretty good foundation there for a good term in office. All right, wrapping up. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care.